Hello.
Yeah. But no, I agree. It's stupid because you need to protect your information against people out there in the world. And your phone stores all of your information.
Luckily my girlfriend don't really give me shit about it. I mean, there's been a couple password info. I'm like, dude, what if somebody finds it? They have all of my information and they could buy a bunch of shit.
Your Amazon's linked up. Everything's linked up. Your credit cards.
Well, and with like the iPhone, I never had one because I kind of thought it was shady. Even without a girlfriend, I'm like, why do I need a lock on there? But iPhone eventually made me do it. It was like, dude, you gotta have this has to be on here.
You give us the thumb or the eyes or the pass.
I can go in there now and turn it off, but that also seems like work. And honestly, the more I thought about it, it's like, dude, it has my credit card in there. It has everything in there.
It's crazy how much it's connected to your.
We might as well be chipped.
I don't use the eye or the thumb though. I won't do that.
It does my face. There's no option on the iPhone.
Mine too, yeah.
You know, they say I don't know if it's 100% true, but the police can make you use your thumbprint, but they can't make you use a passcode.
Oh, really?
Because like they can't prove that you know the number, but like your thumb, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Like,
I really have no clue. One other thing I wanted to hit real quick too was, so if the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year, Bill Belichick is definitely the best coach of all time, right?
It doesn't matter. He is. Dude.
Like you get Cam Newton over Tom Brady now, and you completely rearrange your offense, and it's still fucking monstrous.
I was just talking to Wayne. He was like, it was a great thing for Cam Newton to go to the Patriots. I'm like, it's a great thing for anybody to go to the Patriots because Bill Belichick is the greatest coach in the history of all time.
Whatever your strengths are, he's going to figure out how to get the most out of those strengths. Like even with Cam Newton, the Panthers tried to get him to stop running, and Bill Belichick's like, dude, that's what you do.
But he's
run.
good at that, so we'll figure out a way to make it. Right. Yeah, he's amazing, dude. He uses like, I don't understand why other people aren't more like him. Like, you take what you have and you use their strengths. Like, what's the fucking?
Like let's be honest, they've never like maybe once, and I don't even think they won a Super Bowl that year. They had a truly star-studded offense when they had Randy Moss. But I don't even think they won a Super Bowl that year. No,
well, that was the year they won every game and lost to the Giants at the end.
Yeah.
The football world owes Eli Manning everything, dude. He's prevented 2 Tom Brady Super Bowls.
Yeah, but he still has more than everybody.
Yeah. So, but he would have an ungodly amount.
And they looked good today.
Yeah. What do you think about football, Brandon?
I agree with both of you guys. I feel like you guys make really salient points about football.
Do you like touchdowns?
Yeah. I like when they throw the passes. That's my favorite part.
I had to bring it up, though, because I just think it's crazy.
But
anyway.
Bull, you're going to fucking listen to it.
Edit it out.
MMA Fools, we're back. Brandon, Kyle, exciting card on our hand.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Can we keep talking about
probably the best free card of the year, I think.
Yeah.
As far as like action,
the way it played out, we'll see.
On paper, it was good, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it worked out fucking great.
I mean, not to get to the main event too fast, but the main event was as action packed as I thought it was going to be.
Luckily, the card was great. Anyway,
yeah, we'll dissect that a little bit later. But
we'll probably jump right into it, huh?
Yeah, good.
Okay, so we're starting with Kevin Holland versus Darren Stewart. This fight started out like a backyard brawl.
It's a banger right away.
Like it wasn't even that technical. They're like, dude, we're just gonna come out here and try to kill each other. Yeah. And it was very fun. I'll tell you what, the thing I really took away from it is, even though, like you said before we came on air, even though I don't think Kevin Holland will necessarily win a championship, I love his striking. Yeah. I love how he improvises in the middle of even throwing a punch.
It's like a hammer fist.
Exactly, that hammer fist where he threw the jab and then he came like inside too far for him to throw a right, so he just hammer fisted him.
Well, because why wouldn't you do that though?
Right.
But realistically, why wouldn't you do that when you see it? You never see it. And that adds points, but also keeps them a heightened guard, because like if you don't know where it's coming from.
Well, man, and if you hit it right,
it could catch a button somewhere. You know.
Yeah.
He reminds me of somebody, and I can't put my finger on it.
Patrick Ewing, because he had the knee braces on.
yeah, that's it.
Oh, another sport.
Sports guys.
The way he fights at somebody, and I can't put my finger
I think he did like a side kick to the stomach, then a jab or something like crazy. It was like the combos are just like backwards, and they're not even. They don't make sense. It sounds like somebody mashing buttons, kind of. Yeah. The combos he throws.
This ended up being a closer fight than you would have thought.
Yeah, the first 2 rounds.
After the first 2 rounds, you didn't think it was really going to be too close.
Yeah, well, because I feel like Holland got up on a lot of his activity. He was chipping away at him.
One thing I thought he did weird that I thought he could have definitely been doing better. He was doing good at countering the leg kicks.
Yeah.
But how he was countering them, it wasn't good for any power.
He was leaning over.
Yeah, he was lifting to check the kick. We'll say with his left, and he was throwing with his left as well.
You don't
like
got no
lift
base,
the leg,
yeah,
and go with the right. It seems like
your power
in my
comes
head,
from the ground.
I'm not a fighter, but to me that makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
But I also do like the fact that he was firing back while checking.
Yes.
I feel like it's a good habit to have.
Yeah.
And not let even a leg kick attempted. Even if you do check, you get you down anywhere on points, even if the judge sees it. They see you firing back too.
Right.
So it kind of keeps you even.
And he probably still did it more and landed the punch more than a lot of other people do when they counter leg kicks. But it was just there was nothing to him.
And Stewart looked good too. Like he didn't look any more. He didn't look worse than Holland really.
Dude, he had Holland in a bad.
Great at the end. He was screaming at him.
Yeah.
What was he
I
saying?
think he was saying like, "You can do this. You can fucking beat. Come on, man, get out." Like I think
very motivational.
He was encouraging him to beat him.
Yeah.
Like you can do it.
Yeah, well, and
that was
honestly,
what's going on.
I love what Holland said at the end after the fight too. He walked right up to Dana. I don't know if you guys watched this part of it.
Yeah.
But he walked right up to where Dana was, and we didn't know what he said at the time, but we found out after he was talking to Anik. But he went up and he said, "Hey, man, I think that third round might have been a 10-8 for Holland. I think
Let's
maybe
run it back.
I think maybe that should have been a draw.
Humble.
Let's run it back."
Yeah.
And he said it multiple times. Let's run it back,
Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah.
I love. He's down to fight. He's
Yeah.
there to fight.
In the mentality of like I won, but I didn't beat you.
Well, yeah.
It's nice that it doesn't sit well with him.
It's very
Yeah.
self-aware to acknowledge, like, man, I don't feel like there's a clear winner here. Let's do this again.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But and also I was impressed by his ability to mitigate the power of Stewart. He didn't really get caught clean with punches too well. There's a lot of leg kicks, and Stewart did a great job of stifling his movement with that front push kick to the knee.
Yeah.
So I feel like he did well though with his defense, like head wise. He didn't really get hit with many clean shots. So
No, not at all. And Holland's just a lot of fun to watch, man.
yeah, I'll watch him like if he fights a bunch like any card. I mean, I won't go out the way to watch him, but
Right.
I'll be excited for a Kevin Holland fight. In the
Yeah,
future.
like, oh man, awesome. This one's he's on the card.
right.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and he just got a good attitude too, man. Even
Right.
like I said before the podcast, even when he got kneed in the balls, he's like laughing, like, "Ha, yeah, man, that shit happens."
Yeah. Well,
Let's run that one back.
Yeah.
I'd write it down to see it.
I mean, like I don't know.
I for sure watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, middleweight is kind of one of those divisions where, there's not a lot of upward trajectory, really. Like any divisions like that, but middleweight too. So it's like if they run it back and fight in 3 months or 2 months, they could maybe even fight next month. I don't know how well they're banged up. Probably 2 months from now, 3 months.
Yeah.
One of them getting the actual win.
Real quick, what weight class is this?
Middleweight.
Middleweight.
Yeah, but for Kevin Holland too, if you fight somebody else and they meet down the line again, they don't have to make the fight right away. I don't think.
No, they don't have to. But I'd be a little excited about it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, Stewart. I mean,
he's got a lot more tattoos now, by the way.
Yeah.
He does.
Kevin
yeah.
Holland.
Not just Chinese.
Yeah.
But I think Mike Perry tweeted out during the broadcast, black on black violence in the UFC right now. I'm like,
Yep.
What are you doing?
That
Yeah.
statement right there makes me want to say, just don't come back.
yeah, like,
Just
cause
don't
like, why
come back.
even?
You're
why
just trying to incite
It's
something.
like what
Right.
are you,
You're just trying to
What are you
incite
talking
something.
about, dude? It's
Like fucking knock it off.
Fight.
It's a UFC fight. Black guys fight each other all the time.
Right.
You're saying we can't have black
I don't
guys
know if
fight
you've
each other?
noticed, but like a lot of other sports,
There's a lot of
There's
black
a lot of black
Ridiculous.
guys.
That's
There's some
like-
good black
oh,
athletes.
dude.
yeah, there's a lot of great black
It's the most
athletes out there.
ridiculous shit I've ever heard, dude.
I think athletically they just might be superior genetics.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, honestly I do. I don't think there's any way around it. You see a guy, but I have black friends that never work out and have they're
Ripped.
shredded.
Ripped. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, fucking, I work out 3 times this week. I
Yeah.
don't look anything like you.
And you watch what food you eat and everything, and it's like nothing.
Right.
There's no success. But like, there goes our white nationalist fan base. You said black people have superior genetics.
Oh.
I think when it comes to athletics, I think that's a really serious thing.
We're
I really
catching
do.
up.
I mean,
though.
and
look at Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey is a prime
getting
example.
there.
I never heard of that MMA fighter. Who's that?
Football, juice to the gills.
If it's not on like an early Madden game from the '90s, I have no idea who it is. Tecmo Super Bowl. That's like the roster I know.
Yeah, but decision win. Holland wasn't
Good
really
fight.
that happy with it. Good fight, a lot of fun. I would watch him run it back. I will watch Kevin Holland fight anytime.
I'd watch Darren fight too.
I'd watch a fight too, but I wouldn't be as excited as I would be for Holland.
I do like Darren Stewart.
I do.
And like he's it's one of those mid, like I always think of like mid-tier, like Brad Tavares types of like fighters who don't really stand out.
Yeah.
He's better than that in terms
For
of
sure.
excitingness. He's not like a generic middleweight fighter that I don't care about.
He's got a lot of power.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so like I'd rather see him fight than most like middleweights.
Yeah.
That I don't know really.
And now we have a string of finishes to get through.
Yeah.
We have Mackenzie Dern versus Randa Marcos.
Yeah.
So
This was
silly
some
name.
beautiful jiu-jitsu.
Man,
I like how she set it up.
beautiful jiu-jitsu.
Right. And
I liked how she set it up.
Marcus had a terrible fight IQ by jumping in her guard though.
Yeah.
It's like
Terrible. Mackenzie Dern, get out of there.
yeah, like there's not many people that would say don't do that in this women's division, but also like she's one of them.
These women are so damn
Real quick, let's go
flexible,
ahead
though.
and say Mackenzie Dern
Look
won
great,
by
too.
armbar.
Yeah.
And then let's say that like what Mackenzie Dern even said it in her like right after the fight interview with Anik. She said, "Yeah, I don't know these ladies. I wanted to show off my striking, but these ladies they keep jumping in my guard, so I submit them." Yeah. And her jiu-jitsu is
good,
fucking phenomenal.
It's beautiful for not for a woman, but just for like
period. It's fun to watch.
The women around her. It's so head and shoulders above it. It's sort of like how Ronda was.
Yeah, it's nice
with her
to
arm
see
bars.
somebody
Yeah.
be able to cleanly like practice jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Constant transitions. You constantly see the chess moves she's doing, and she's accomplishing them. At first she was kind of high on her body with a triangle.
Right.
And it slowly ended up getting worked into an armbar, but also great defense on Marcos for initially getting that leg. Was it her leg in between her legs, and that was preventing her from being able to fully do what she wanted to do. But then Mackenzie Dern just keeps the chess match going and eventually finds it.
These women are so flexible, though. I'm like, damn, dude. For a long time, I'm like, how is she not tapping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have.
She was tough.
I wouldn't even have had time to tap. I would have just been crying. Let it go. Just let it go.
Crying because you get to touch.
But yeah,
Right,
once she
Dern.
got that leg out, she fully cranked it.
Just cute.
Yeah. Depends how long it's been, right?
Yeah. Yeah. She's got giant. The first thing I noticed when I saw her walk in the cage, I was like, she's got giant bags under her eyes.
She's a mom now. She's a mom.
No, seriously, they were like black. Looked like she already got punched a few times.
I miss the awkward women transitions where they're just like on top of each other and like in an awkward spot though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that could have been better.
They're 115, correct?
But this is 115, yeah.
Which is what?
Mackenzie Dern
women
is a contender.
It's strawweight.
Strawweight, yeah.
Mackenzie Dern's a contender.
No, she won 2 in a row, but she looked terrible in the loss that she came back to and
Yeah. Her striking actually looked okay before she threw the kick and fell on her ass.
I want to see her fight a higher level.
Yeah, she deserves to step up now, but
yeah,
I guess we'll look at the rankings.
Well, because her jiu-jitsu, we're going to look at it. Her jiu-jitsu is obviously world fucking
She
class.
reminds me of like actually not to do the comparison a lot, but Ronda, how her striking isn't really great, but also she has a decent amount of power, so that carries her against women who also have striking that aren't that
Her
isn't that
striking
great.
definitely 100% looked way better.
I think she's like 20, probably 27. I think
her striking looked way better than Ronda Rousey's though.
Yeah,
Ronda Rousey's maybe the worst
It's
I've ever seen in the UFC.
She knocked out the greatest of all time though in Beth Correa or whatever, right?
The greatest of all time.
The greatest of all time.
27.
27. Nice. Yeah, so she's still young too, man.
Yeah.
She's got a bright future ahead of her, I'd say.
Especially when you see like women like Liz Carmouche, who's like 38 fighting in Bellator. It's like, or like a Kat Zingano and people like they're 40 almost.
Yeah.
That's wild to see women that old fight. Not that it's old, but
she has 13 years ahead of her. Like, maybe she could turn it.
I think, honestly, before she said she wanted to show off her striking, she'd been working on it. And before she missed that kick and fell on her ass, which she was super embarrassed about, her striking looked pretty good. Yeah. It was fluid. It wasn't, unfortunately, within a lot of women that are outside of the top 3 in each division, it's real blocky, clunky stand-up.
Yeah.
And that was not what hers looked like for the brief period that we saw.
Right. It's going to be a liability if she can't take it to the ground and she's fighting somebody like Rose, who is just going to smoke her on the feet. But also she has the potential to make it better while she takes these fights in between. So she could maybe get there eventually. She's an athlete. She's athletic, and she has a good base for striking.
Yeah, and she's only ranked 15, so you know what? Take a slow climb.
Right.
Take a slow climb.
It's not like she's Jake Shields or somebody that was striking where it's just like no hope for her striking getting better,
Right.
But yeah, it was a pretty good fight for women. It was fast. I
enjoyed it. It was a beautiful, beautiful display of jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so first round sub by Armbar, beautifully executed, and we'll move on to Johnny Walker versus Ryan Spann. They were actually saying
Johnny Walker sucks, dude.
he was he won by a first round KO TKO. With 2:42 left, but
dropped twice.
The luckiest win ever. I thought he was done after the first one.
Right.
I mean, he was literally falling over.
Going into the fight, I thought, I think Spann might win this. And then
Spann looked bad too, though.
Yeah, I don't see how do you let him come back on you after you fucking slugged him.
Yeah.
You had him fucking rolling around the cage, dude. And
these stats are misleading because most of these total strikes that he landed were from
his elbows.
Yeah, and hammer fist from Spann trying to take him down, and he just started cracking him. Which everybody in light heavyweight or heavyweight should be aware of that ever since Travis Brown.
Yeah,
Travis Brown was the first person that really, I feel like, made it an emphasis on that and made it a big thing. But now, man, people get dropped like that all the fucking time.
And like, just because you're big doesn't mean your temple isn't temple. Yeah,
and that's how. And we should say that is how Spawn lost. He lost because he was trying to do a takedown, and Johnny Walker just started hammer fisting and elbowing the side of his head.
I don't think people were saying those are illegal. I don't think those are illegal at all.
No.
Definitely not illegal. No. They've been used a lot.
Why should they be?
People
even
like
if they are, they
head,
shouldn't be. Like
it was the back of the head. It was to the side of his head.
Right.
It was definitely to the
and
side.
Like it's just crazy as fuck. It is crazy as fuck too that like you can't hit to the back of the head. I don't like. I understand, but also it's like, why?
Why?
Yeah, like.
I can rip your arm off, but I can't punch you in the back of the head.
Or I can knee you in the forehead and face.
Last week there was somebody, they were about to get up, but their knee was still on the ground. She up kicked her in the face. And they're like, "Wait, watch out!" I was like, "Why isn't that
Angela Hill?"
legal?
I think it was.
Yeah, I'm like, "Why isn't that legal, dude? They're getting up off you, bow!"
Yeah, it was Angela Hill.
Also knees and kicks like down opponents in Pride. It really punished wrestlers who weren't good at getting takedowns, and that's.
But we need to do something about these.
It's good. Yeah, it's good though. I feel like it's good because
I will say it was scary to see
him slump.
It was scary to see Wanderlei Silva soccer kick people in the head. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it because it's a fight. It was scary to see people when somebody would dodge the takedown attempt and switch to the side control real quick and start kneeing them in the head immediately.
Yeah.
It just looks so vicious.
Scary to you, arousing to some other people. So.
I want to see.
I mean, I'm not saying I hated watching it. It's just it is intense.
I think it opens up fights so much more, dude.
Does,
and it doesn't give wrestlers. Wrestlers are fucking people.
But also, it gives wrestlers a better tool too to finish fights.
Yeah.
Yes,
it
for both people, it opens up things for.
Get
it's not
side
just
control. You can
unfair.
knee with the head.
Right. Because I've seen Overeem knee people in the head and Pride from side control, and it's brutal.
Devastating.
The I think the bigger issue with doing it is the refs have to be good. Yeah. The refs really have to be paying attention so they don't take too many fucking blows.
Well, they're not good. They never will be good, probably.
Yeah, so. There's only a couple that I think are really at the top of the game, right? And I think they're leaps and bounds above the rest. But
they still fuck up.
And that is such a hard time to tell because when you miss the takedown, your face is already on the mat. Then this dude's kneeing you 3 or 4 times in the head, and you're already laying down.
Right.
So now, is it just the same thing, or are you out?
Yeah, it maybe results in a lot of like unfair stoppages where the guy's trying to protect him, and he's like, "Dude, I was just turtling." Like,
not just unfair stoppages, but also brutal, serious damage.
Well, do you think that too? Like,
but I still think it should be legal.
I think it should be legal as well.
But like, you remember the game that people used to play when they put their hand down? Like, dude, I just hate that shit. Like, you're standing up with your hands down, dude. That's not a down person.
You're being an asshole.
Like, in what way is that a down person?
Yeah. That is still a rule in some states, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's weird.
I hate that. I hate that there's different rules for different states. Like, there's no elbows in this state or whatever. Some organizations have that.
Man, that's a factor I don't even ever think about.
Right.
Yeah, but it's real.
Yeah, well, you put a hand down and you're down.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the UFC should figure out the states that have the rules that they like the most and just go there.
Never go to the
don't
other.
go to the other ones.
Or force the other. Like, if you don't want a revenue, then don't. But we're not going to come here unless you change the rules around.
That's what I'm saying. And if they just didn't go to those other states, then those states would change the rules.
Yeah,
because they're when sans COVID, they're fucking packing places.
Right, and that's a lot of money for the state. But I think Mousasi beat Weidman like that, where I think Weidman was trying to play that game where he has a hand down and pick it up. And like, I think Musasi brought him up.
Yep.
Yeah, lifted him up. Yeah.
Which is smart.
I've seen a couple people do that, I think.
That's fucking, like, don't
It's
put your hand down, dumbass.
Extremely intelligent. It's surprising people don't do it more. I'll be honest with you. I just saw a clip. I know we're getting way off track here, but I just saw a clip of a very low-level MMA promotion.
Yeah.
Where this guy went to, it was one of the, I'm going to fake high-five you and then try to either punch you or take you down. And the guy went for the takedown, and the dude immediately just lifted his knee and knocked him out cold. And it makes me wonder, why does that not happen more?
But the fake
No, the knee for the takedown.
Well, I think it just depends on
the
skill set of the fighter. Like, not every fighter could throw brutal knees. I think you should be able to. If you're at MMA, like,
this wasn't a brutal knee. He was caught by surprise and just was like, ah, shit.
Wrestlers they're trying to avoid that.
I mean, they are trying to avoid it, but it just still seems like an uppercut should be like. It seems like it should happen more often. I'm not saying it's gonna work every time.
Why doesn't everybody just Masvidal them? Every time.
But I'm not saying it's gonna work every time, but it seems like it should happen more often.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about a flying knee. The guy literally just lifted his knee up.
Well, because the force of that coming down anyways is gonna fuck.
Right.
Fuck
the
you
guy's
anyways.
head's coming towards your knee.
Yeah.
You don't even have to throw a crazy hard knee.
It's
It's
get it in the way of his
impact
head.
of both.
Touch him, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think because if you miss it or they eat it and they just eat it and they don't,
You're going down.
Yeah, you're going.
It's for sure a takedown. Yeah.
Yeah, and like a lot of people wouldn't want. That's a risk versus reward scenario.
That's
where
true.
You don't want to engage in, especially when you could fight. You could get underhooks. You could do a wizard. There's a lot of other takedown defenses.
Right.
But yeah, dude, it is a fucking nasty blow because they're, if they're shooting with any like
force,
intensity, they're going right into it.
Yeah, they can apply most of the force and knock themselves out with you just lifting your knee up in the air.
But like also another scenario is also if you do hit them and then like you don't knock them out, but like how well can they grapple, and which your grappling should be so good that you could take advantage of a rocked someone who's taking you out anyways.
Yeah.
Sweep them. Get them in a choke.
Mash them,
yeah,
and they still drop you.
It's actually what
the
argument for the kick is actually why I think an uppercut is a better choice, because you can still actually back your back leg up and throw an uppercut. You know what I mean? And if you miss, you still have a barricade in there from the takedown, and you're on your back foot.
Right, you're getting your arm in there.
Underhook them after that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's something I thought about forever, but I never brought up because I was like, there has to be a reason they're not doing it. But then when I saw this guy do it, I was like, I'm bringing it up.
You assume they
you need to go to the MMA president and tell him. The president of MMA is like, why aren't people doing
Why
this?
don't you train people, dude?
Well, I don't know, because you've seen the calf kick come into fruition a lot more in the past 2 years than ever.
Yeah.
And I see them talk about it on broadcast that people do it a lot, and I'm thinking to myself, what else is there in gyms that people don't use that they could use? And I don't know, because I'm not privy to it.
These things would always have been obvious, though.
Right. Well, that's why I never brought it up, because I figured it would be obvious, and I'm nobody.
But
I know what I know from watching.
Apparently, calf kicks weren't obvious, and it seems like an obvious thing.
Right. That's
always has been. I mean, Joe Rogan's leg kicks.
Yeah, leg kicks. He says it all the time.
But you wonder how much how good the training really is for MMA in this relative infancy, because it's the training's gotten better, but so many gyms. It's
gotten leaps and bounds better from when we first started watching, so that says a lot.
I mean, just 93 to now is.
I don't think it's gotten as much better from 2005 onward. I think a lot of the base of it's small changes that it's a lot of different things now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, right around then though,
it's sort of
7, 08.
It's not really going up exponentially like it was in the previous years.
Yeah, but to me, you see a lot more well-rounded fighters than you used to.
You do, yeah.
So back to this fight, Johnny Walker did end up getting the TKO.
It was like a Pat Barry, Czech Congo deal.
Yeah, because it was lucky as hell, because he definitely got rocked hard twice to the point where he couldn't stand up. He was falling over. Yeah.
Telling you, he's a glass cannon. Either he fucking gets you out of there, or he gets get put out of there, and that's it.
Well, but the one thing I did want to say is if he could figure that out, his striking does look good.
It's brutal.
I don't know at this point if Johnny Walker's ever gonna hone his skills to the point where he can make it in the top 5.
I would have to agree.
And he's one of those fighters too
he's got a lot of raw talent, man. But it's
if you fought somebody say if you fought somebody I don't know in the top 5, and he could fuck him up and take him out. Mm-hmm. Or he could, he's one of those fighters where his offensive tools are so potent that you could fuck up anybody in the division. Really,
because his striking is crisp, clean, sometimes creative, and powerful.
Right, there's elbows and knees and everything he's thrown is like with power and bad intentions.
He gets hit.
Right.
Yeah, he gets hit and
he's
gets
like
dropped.
He's like a worse version of like Overeem.
Yes.
Where Overeem can like he could beat Stipe tomorrow and be champion, or he can get knocked out brutally in the first round.
Yeah.
And it's either or,
But I might even think Johnny Walker's jaw is worse.
Yeah.
I really do.
Or his defense is worse. He doesn't have the skills and the wisdom to carry him. He just is like getting hit clean and like not Overeem.
He's still young, man. We don't,
Well, and he was a lot more humble in this fight. He still had some of his clowning at the end, but he was a lot more humble than he has been previously. Yeah. And even in the post-fight interview, he was a little bit more humble than he usually is. He wasn't like, I'm the superstar.
It's very discomforting that he went to John Kavanaugh and straight blast gym, because I don't know a good fighter from there besides Conor.
But how many people have they, like, there's not a ton of, I would say there's not a ton of backlog to judge off of.
Well, there's Artem. There's there's a few Irish fighters that wash
Artem,
out.
I mean, I don't give a fuck who's coaching. Artem's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think the rest of the
what's his training like partners like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
training partners. Yeah, but you can always bring in training partners.
Right.
But I think what Kyle was saying, that a lot of the people they have, they just are what they are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I just also, it's hard to judge a camp besides like the success of the fighters coming out of there. Yeah. It just is like you don't know. Yeah,
I don't know what they do.
Because Conor could have probably been good anywhere. Honestly, it's a Ronda thing where Ronda
maybe even better somewhere else.
Right. That's what I mean.
We don't know. Yeah.
And I don't know Johnny Walker enough in his skill set or know what goes on in the camp every day to know whether or not he's a good fit. But it gives me a bad vibe.
That's something we figure out with time.
Well, if you want to say maybe some unorthodox striking, it might be the right place, because Conor, while he is very technically sound, does some unorthodox movements. Yeah. So
we'll see how it plays out. Like, I'm not like saying he's doomed to go there. It's not like he's a bad coach.
But it seems like maybe you should have went to one of the major gyms.
Yeah, somebody who has a little more track record.
But then again, if you go to one of the major gyms, how much attention do you get?
Yeah. Well, I don't know enough about coaching MMA. Like, what's the best recipe?
Like Gaethje, though, luckily his coach shaved everything down and focused on, like, this dude's a champion.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to focus on, like, 3 fighters.
Yeah. I guess this will actually be a better testament to the coaching staff there rather than Conor, because I feel like Conor had a lot of the tools innately, you know? And, like, this guy does too, but he's more raw. And we see him earlier in his career. Conor was already who he was when he came to the UFC, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, he still had a lot to prove, but he looked fucking phenomenal.
Skill-wise.
Yeah, his striking is a striking, man.
I feel like he's
left hand of death.
Yeah, and he's just, that power is, you can't teach that, really.
I actually feel like Conor's style has changed a lot since he came to the UFC. He used to be a lot more light on his feet, a lot more like bouncing around.
He did a lot more bouncing around. Now he does weird movements, but stays kind of flat.
Yeah, like you watch the Brimage fight, and like he just is like everywhere and just countering, and this. Yeah, it's a way different version. He's very young, younger than, but we'll see how it goes for Johnny Walker.
But all right, so next fight is the one I am the most excited for. Was the one I was most excited to watch on this fight, and he delivered. Khamzat Chimaev, it might be the scariest man on the planet.
This is beautiful, dude. Like, I've never seen anything fucking like it, dude.
Go to stats.
Yeah.
This dude has been there. He's been.
Look at that. So now what? 3 punches have been thrown on him.
There have been four punches thrown at him in 3 fights. I think one landed.
I think only 3 punches thrown at him.
Whatever, one landed.
Bro, he's a can. 4 punches instead of 3, dude. He let an extra punch.
Is there a stat like that anywhere else, dude?
No. It's the craziest shit I have ever fucking seen.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't care who. If they told me he was fighting for one of the 2 weight classes titles tomorrow, I'd be like, all right.
Meerschaert took a fucking mere shit in his pants.
So
he was scared, dude.
We should say. This fight, for as much as he could possibly show it off, he decided to show off his striking, which looked good.
Just a laser punch.
Looked powerful. He looked fast. He looked confident. He looked aggressive.
Right.
And then landed a very quick, straight down the middle right hand that Gerald even saw coming and tried to get his hand up, and he couldn't get it up in time and just got fucking rocked.
He got hunted, dude. Meerschaert was like... Backing up.
Hitter
I'm gonna hit you with
quitter.
this. I'm gonna hit you with this.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm not going to punch you with
Yeah,
this.
just like- he should have spit on. He should have like spit on it. Just like,
I'm coming.
might as well wind it up while you're walking towards him.
Dana White said something to the effect of, it's one of the most impressive things he's ever seen.
It's wild.
He's won 3 fights in 66 days and hasn't even been close to a competition.
And he could probably win 3 more in the next 10 days. Like, who
Yes.
knows, dude?
Yeah.
Like, if you lined up guys
They said
outside the top 15, for sure, he's just gonna.
They said he might fight between the Maya fight and now. He might fight again between
What?
the Maya fight. So they could
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, he's not.
add him to the like fucking card next week, dude.
And switch his weight class again.
Yeah.
Go
Or-
back to welterweight again.
Or if you just keep him at 185, like who? I mean,
To me, one of the craziest things about this man is, first of all, I want to say this was actually a real test. Not that this Gerald guy is an amazing fighter, but he was 30-some and 15.
yeah.
You know what I'm
wind
saying?
up testing him though.
Well,
You
the
know what I
reason
mean?
it was
Like,
supposed to test him is because this guy's grappling
Yeah,
game
he's
is
got
supposed to be so
experience.
strong.
Right.
But Chimaev was like, cool, I'm going to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
And knock you out instantly. Give you no.
Yeah.
Well, like the tweet, he avoided the wrestling pretty well. There's no takedowns he got caught with,
Yeah.
or he didn't get subbed. That's good for Gerald.
But to me, the
Perfect submission
the crazy
defense.
thing about Khamzat is, I mean, there's a possibility he could do 3 weight classes.
Yeah.
You don't think he could get up to light heavy?
I don't know. That's some big boys up there.
No, I don't think light heavy. Maybe go down.
But
though.
he's pretty big.
I think.
He's big, but like
He was a good bit taller than him, right? Like what's his height?
I think he was like
I think.
a inch over.
What is 74?
74, well, 74.
Could he get to 155 though?
No, he couldn't get one.
No.
He'd have to chop off the arm.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I think he could dominate 2 weight divisions.
He definitely can dominate 2, without a doubt.
We'll
He's
see.
6'2", man.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It just depends
Yeah.
on why he puts
He's
on
not
muscle.
making
He's pretty lean though.
155.
He's very, very skinny.
That's what I'm saying. He's
doesn't
real
have a-
lean,
Okay.
so he could probably
What's
put
his
on the
reach?
weight. And then what do you think?
75-inch.
75.
bad.
He could get a.
And then what do you? So then what do you think? Like, so what is he going to slow down a little bit at light heavy? So then maybe he just wrestles and mauls
It's a
people.
big jump, man.
I mean, you
Yeah.
put him against somebody like Jan Blachowicz, and like he's gonna look like a little
But-
kid.
That's true.
He
Like,
probably
he's
walks
a big
around
dude.
at 190 or something.
That's what I'm saying. He probably walks around at 190, 195.
And he's young. You could put on some
Dude,
weight later.
put against Rumble. Rumble.
No.
Rumble versus.
That'd
It's
be
like
cool, dude.
I mean, I would watch it, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
that he for sure
That's
wouldn't win that
test.
fight, but you get touched by Rumble,
Yeah,
and you're
you're
going to
asleep.
sleep.
That's
Yeah.
a test,
If he's
though.
like,
yeah.
you're going to sleep.
Well, but that may hold true for Chimaev too.
It might, yeah, because I mean that's what it looked like in this one.
Boom.
Well, I have a few matchups in my mind, like 4. We'll get to the rankings.
Yeah,
but
we'll get there, but I mean,
What's wrong with his beard? He's got too much neck hair down there. Like.
I can't not think of Connor calling him rat lip on Twitter.
Like,
like
fucked up. He's
I
born
am
with a cleft
100% on the hype train.
yeah, it's hard not to be at this point. to be
I
honest.
think
Well, it's not even hype, dude. It's performance. He
Yeah.
fucking demolished everybody they put in
demolishes.
front of
They
him.
can't even.
What do you mean
They
hype?
can't throw punches.
There's
Yeah.
not. It's not hype. It's the dude is fucking ran through everybody. What else do you want us
like-
to say?
To me, right now, even though he hasn't had an ultimate test yet, to me right now, he's the scariest man on the planet.
He's scary, but
We'll see, man. I don't
I'm
know.
saying, like I said, he hasn't been truly tested, but nobody's ever done what
he's
he's
the scariest
doing.
guy in the
prospect
weight
of what
class.
he could be is scary as.
Has anybody else ever
This is
had 3 fights
It's a
where
phenomenal.
only 3 punches were thrown on him
It's
and
a
he
phenomenal
destroyed
run,
them?
dude. Yeah. it's
no,
wild.
I mean, I guess like you
I
have.
don't care who you put in front of him. These are your guys that made it into the UFC, and he's fucking
Mauling them.
Yeah.
wiping them off the earth, dude.
I mean, I'd like to see, just like, okay, how long can you do that to people for until things look different for him?
Yeah.
And what it looks like once it looks different.
I want to
Right.
see somebody give him a fight.
Somebody
but-
try to take him down. Like, see what he's doing defensively. Because
Well,
I've never seen him on a defensive
until
moment.
somebody
Yeah.
even gets close. We have to assume that nobody can.
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I
now
don't
you
know.
can't. Now you feel like you can't just like go in there and try to bum rush for a takedown either, because if he hits you, you're probably gonna
Yeah.
go to sleep.
I mean,
Khabib
He hits
put him
hard
against-
and fast.
Let him and Khabib at 170. That'd be great.
I mean,
I'd watch the shit out of it.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I just feel like Mearshart was really slow. Like he landed a laser punch on a guy slow. Like
it was slow, but man, regardless, that punch was fast.
Well, yeah. Like that's. I mean, it's both. He was slow and
he
was fast striking.
And I don't think anybody expected him to come out there and just try to strike, because of what he's done in his previous 2 fights of just ground maul. He's a bear.
Mearshart was probably waiting for like, oh shit, he's about to take my legs out from.
He doesn't wrestle bears. People wrestle him, and they're like, dude, I wrestle bears.
Dude, him versus Costa would be nuts. Him versus Costa would be nuts.
Yeah,
because Costa would not back. He would just march forward, and it's like it'd be like.
But I honestly feel like Khamzat just take him down.
I don't know, Costa. I mean,
the way Costa moves forward. I think he actually is really susceptible to being taken down.
We have to see.
Yeah,
there's
levels.
Somebody in the top 10, 5, whatever, and then we'll see. But like
even like a Jared.
All
Cannonier.
signs point to he's gonna fucking maul people, dude.
like even somebody like Jared Cannonier would be a good test.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You know, because Cannonier is a great striker. He's hard to take down. Or what we were talking about, Robert Whittaker. He's the best anti-wrestler I've seen.
That was in my mind after that fight. I was like, I'd like to see him fight somebody like Robert Whittaker.
Here's what's crazy is we all have no problem with him fighting any of those people.
Top guys.
And he's not even fought a top 15 opponent yet.
Well, only because you just think of like skill-wise.
Look what he's
what
done.
you see.
Yeah.
But like there might be fighters in the interim between Robert Whittaker and a Jared Mearshart that could give him different looks.
But okay,
like, we just don't know.
There's levels to this shit. If I put Robert Whittaker against Mearshart, does Robert Whittaker wipe him out like that?
Well, it's just like his skill set.
Yeah.
Would Mearshart even offer anything to Robert Whittaker at all?
I don't think anybody wipes out people the way he wipes out people. It doesn't matter what you're good at. It doesn't matter. So far, what we've seen.
Right.
Doesn't matter what your strong point is. I'm going to kill you.
Well, he says he wants to sub Maya. If he comes out and submits Damian Maya, this is scary.
Yeah.
Especially if he does it in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, like it just depends on who he's matched up with, because it's like I said, like I don't think Whittaker would take out Mearshart in the same way, but I don't think Mearshart would even give Whittaker a fight.
Way, but you don't. But still,
I don't think he would. I don't think he would give Whittaker a fight, but I think the fight would probably go to the second round.
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance.
Yeah, but only because it's like styles make fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Whittaker's striking could be, it's all different. You know.
Khamzat style. I'm fucking bang. One punch you.
I'll tell you another thing I like about him is as aggressive and like a monster he is in the cage. Like he even like just looks like a monster. Like just the way he moves, everything. It's like, God, who is this fucking guy?
Yeah.
When he did his post fight with Anik, he's like very quiet. He's shy. It seems like he's like,
awkward.
I fight. I punch. I'd like to fight someone else.
Give me somebody now.
I feel like he's like I said, he's like Khabib and Conor. He's like striking wise, like if there's no distractions, he lives at the gym in Sweden. He lives at the gym.
Yeah.
So like it's like no distractions. The humbleness of Khabib's culture with like Conor,
with
a
the
better
bravado,
striking,
with a little bit of bravado.
I feel like he was like a nerd through most of his adolescence.
Yeah,
or probably bullied to some extent, or like picked on.
And but he always had confidence, and then he found this, and he's like, man, I'll be real quiet outside the cage. I'm not really that big of a talker, but I will come out here and fucking maul you in the cage.
I mean, like some of the shit you were saying before the fight was like dumb as hell. Like how you a black belt when you've like lost 13 times. Like I don't know if you know how black belts work, but you don't need to. You don't need to keep a perfect record in MMA to be a black belt. You know, like.
But I do think he's actually smart enough that he knows he has to also try to sell the fight.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, like it was kind of shitty because I don't know if it was racist, but he said about Kevin Holland. He saw him at the hotel and thought he would like worked for the hotel and was like made. I'm like, I don't like. Is that just culturally like? You know what I mean? Is it a cultural thing? You know,
I think I don't think it probably was. I think Kevin Holland is unassuming.
Kevin Holland would be a good fight, dude. I like him versus Kevin Holland.
Yeah, I'd watch that for sure.
Are they same weight class?
185, yeah.
Depending on where he's fighting that day.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because he fights either at middleweight or welterweight.
Or what his Stewart, is that it?
Stewart would be a great fight for him too.
Yeah.
Because Stewart looks hard to take down and strong as fuck.
Yeah.
And
throws bombs.
I feel like he has a better future
I think
at 170.
it would at least be a battle back and forth for a little bit.
I honestly, at this point, I don't think it matters which one he goes to.
I think it would at the top of the division.
I think there's a chance. I think he has the mentality. And so far it looks like the skill to actually be a dominant weight class champ, to where he defends both of them frequently, like just alternates.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see how.
I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited, but I'm also I don't have reservations in the sense I don't think he could be successful. But I don't think all of his fights are going to look like the last 3 fights. They just can't.
Yeah, you just keep you keep thinking that this can't continue.
But like you just have to understand. It's like stylistically, there has to be somebody out there who could test. Like there's going to be somebody who's going to give him a different fight, and that could open up different questions. Like how good's his chin? I don't know. Right. He could have a Johnny Walker chin. Yeah. Like you don't know.
That beard will protect that chin.
Yeah,
but that is true. We haven't seen.
He could get tired if he's cutting the 170.
He's only had 3 strikes thrown against him, so we have no idea what his chin looks like.
Right, and like if he gets the 170 and it's a bad weight cut.
Right.
And it's the third round. He hasn't got somebody out of there.
I think he's.
There are question marks.
I think he's such a machine that I don't think he's ever going to have a bad weight cut, unless he tries to go lower than 170.
But also with that sort of confidence is the idea that you are invincible and impenetrable and all these other sort of like heightened opinions of yourself. So if you get caught, you get caught. I
don't think he's in danger of letting it go to his head.
No, I'm not saying that, but it just like
it doesn't appear to be
an undefeated fighter. Has a certain level of confidence, and it's like that's going to carry you well until you test yourself and you ask questions about your your fight style later on. So
on a lighter note about Khamzat, I did see a video of him running into a homeless person and taking him to McDonald's and buying him a bunch of food.
He didn't make him do push-ups like Khabib did?
Nope.
Oh, that's good.
Nope. He just took him to McDonald's and bought him a bunch of food.
Wow.
Make him do push-ups.
Did Khabib do that for real?
Yeah.
This is going to help you. Do push-ups.
Yeah.
Do push-ups.
He gave some homeless guy money to do like push-ups.
Hey, fuck it. Give him money.
It wasn't for the food.
It was just for money, so I guess it could be.
Well, that's a bit okay.
Well, it's still
better than like do these push-ups for the McDonald's.
And if you think about it too,
you can't turn that into drug
and if
money.
you think about it too, like, hey man, put some kind of work ethic into something.
Yeah.
So, all right, whatever.
Also, kind of demoralizing, but whatever.
Yes, definitely demoralizing. Definitely demoralizing.
If you don't video it, it's better.
Yeah, if it gets put online.
He didn't video it. It was very much far away from him. It was from the other side of the street.
Well,
somebody else was videoing it. They weren't like in McDonald's with him.
Right.
We should probably go to Nico.
Yeah, Nico versus Donald Cerrone. This honestly might have been my favorite fight of the night.
Controversial. I feel like Cowboy won the fight.
He got when she outstruck him.
I seem to be in the minority. I think it's like a 60-40 split. People feel like Cowboy.
It's funny, it was 70-30 earlier.
70-30, whatever.
It's going to be 55-45 next time.
I think a draw with the eye poke deduction. And so it ended up being a majority draw. And I think the majority draw with the eye poke deduction, I think, was actually pretty fair.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like that second round, like, for one, I feel like all the Cowboy shots were clean, crisp, nothing in the way of them. Like, you look at the way Nico was busted up by the end. Yeah, I mean, Nico was fucking him up at the beginning.
The first round could have also been a 10-8.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It was bad.
It was bad but how long did that last? That was
like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Like.
2 minutes.
2 minutes of like just repeated
half the fight,
but
half the round. I mean,
half the round. Yeah. I mean, it was bad.
It was
like
Cowboy.
He weathered it and he looked decent at the end of that round. I felt like the second round. I don't know. Looking at the strike totals, I'm like, I didn't feel like it was right.
Yeah.
I feel like more of Nico's shots got blocked than what they gave credit for. I
don't know. He was good.
I don't know. I will say Nico looked like the more fucked up fighter.
Yeah,
I
think Cowboy had a couple takedowns that they didn't count.
And Nico was weirdly ecstatic about the draw.
Yeah.
Like weirdly, like he was walking up to Cowboy.
I think he just didn't
felt that it was very close.
I feel like Nico just didn't want to take a win away from Cowboy.
Yeah, but to the point where you're elated that you just got a draw.
Yeah.
Like,
I will tell you, after the second eye poke, he was really throwing some really weak leg kicks out there. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm just going to tap you with these for a while, man. Let's get you back in this fight.
Yeah.
It did kind of
I feel like Cowboy
like
shots were just the more damaging shots. All body, head.
Yeah. I will say Cowboy looked good. I mean, he looked good.
People were saying he looked like really bad. And I'm like,
well, it's because of that first round.
The first round looked bad.
I think people couldn't get over that first round. Like, what happened to him. And, like, it was bad, dude. It looked like, for a second there, it was like, oh, this is
But he ended up,
upsetting.
I think it was in the first round, he ended up hurting him with that knee in the clinch.
Cowboy
ended up
hit him
hurting
in the
Nico.
gut. He hit him in the gut with a big one.
Yeah.
He did that a few times.
But it was an awesome fight. You saw a lot of gamesmanship. There was a lot of eye pokes, man.
A lot of respect shown between each other.
A lot of respect shown. The Nico poked Donald in the eye twice. Got a point deduction. I think it was a good point deduction because it happened so quickly after the first one, and he still wasn't doing well with his fingers.
I think with that point deduction though, and the fact that Cowboy had to fight through all that. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see how the judges don't end up beating Cowboy
because he got a point. I mean,
yeah, he got a point deducted. It's not a fight deduction.
Yeah, but like. I get what you're saying, but that wouldn't matter if it wasn't that close.
It was in the first round. There's an argument to say that first round really could have been a 10-8. So then that makes it what a fucking 9-8, 9-9, whatever.
He would have lost if not for the point deduction on the card.
Yes, I think I agree with that.
First 2 rounds I gave to Nico.
Yeah, third round I definitely gave to Donald.
Yeah.
It was an awesome fight. So the second eye poke, the first thing I want to say is Donald Cerrone on the first eye poke didn't take the full amount of time. He's like, let's go. And when they first engaged again, it looked like that eye was definitely still bothering him. But he was like, no, man, we're here to fight. Let's go.
I think also, too, that he knows that Nico spent a lot of gas trying to get him out of there early, so he didn't want Nico to really...
I feel like 2 of those takedowns should have counted, though.
I do agree with that.
We didn't really do much with him besides, but you got a takedown.
Well, and then he rode him.
But there's still a takedown.
He rode him for a while or on his back.
I want to finish this thought about the eye pokes, too, though, because that's obviously like the most controversial thing in there. The second eye poke, again, Donald didn't take a whole bunch of time. He took a little bit more. They got the point deduction. And then the third eye poke happened much later, and they actually eye poked each other at the same time, which I think is the only reason Nico didn't get another deduction, because they both eye poked each other. But that was one of the greatest displays of gamemanship I've ever seen, because they both were taking their time. Nico was kind of laughing about it, but was also very pissed. Nico was pissed every time he poked him in the eye.
Yeah,
Son of a bitch. He did not mean to at all. He hated himself for it.
Nico's a good dude, man.
Yeah, but Nico was like, all right, man, I'm good. You ready? And Donald was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. Yeah. It was just... we got to watch 2 guys who truly love to fight,
yeah,
man.
Right. Yeah.
And to me, even though it may not have been the best display we've seen, to me it was my favorite fight of the night, because their gamemanship was on another level.
Yeah, I mean, these are 2 guys that they just love it, man.
Yeah.
They love to fight.
And I like how they respect each other so much that they're not going to hold back. Because it's not, you see that sometimes when people are so nice, but the fight is boring, and it's like, that sucks.
No, they want
that
they,
sucks
they
to have a fight
feel
that's boring.
Yeah,
they feel
agreed.
The best way to honor each other is to
fight as hard as they can.
Fight.
Yeah, like
right.
Nick Diaz versus Anderson Silva.
You're just like,
yeah.
I mean, you might as well. You guys just might as well go hang out. Like, don't even fight. Go hang out. We'll do whatever you want to do.
Well,
together.
even
go sit on the same side of a booth in a restaurant.
Adesanya versus Silva, that could have been a little more.
Yeah,
violent.
me too. Yeah, and like I feel like Adesanya,
it was good. I enjoyed it, but
yeah.
It could have been a little more violent. There was a little too much respect showed by Adesanya. I felt like.
I would agree with that. I'd agree with that. I still thought Anderson Silva also looked a lot better than I expected him to look in that fight.
Well, Anderson, like, it's weird to even gauge where he's at skill wise, because it's like he doesn't lose in a regular fashion where he just gets outclassed.
No.
Like, I think Adesanya beat him.
Yeah.
But it was closer than I thought it was going to be, too. And, like, the Cannonier fight, he fucked him up with leg kicks, and that was basically it. But that was it.
Yeah.
And so, like, he doesn't really, like... He's not getting knocked out clean. He's not getting, like, taken down and beat the fuck up and, like, just, like, wiped out in the cards.
Right.
So he's losing in ways that are, like... It's hard to gauge his skills, like, where he's at.
Scroll down a little. I just want to see the rest of the stats. Chael feels like Cowboy won the fight, too, so I'll take Chael. Chael's opinion is a big deal to me.
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't get any takedowns. He should have had 2 takedowns.
Yeah, I think so.
He definitely should have. And all of his strikes were significant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But there wasn't that much less of a significant on the other side. I don't know. Great fight.
I want to watch it again.
I really fucking loved the fight. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Great. Right.
I really enjoyed it. All right, so
I was jumping up and down the whole fucking time, dude. It was like it was a good fight.
What did this take place at lightweight or welter?
Welter.
All right, and then finally Colby Covington, Tyrone Woodley went pretty much how I expected it to go.
What a loaded scenario to talk about this. It's like so much like political injections.
First, I have to say, fucking these Trumpers with their we should keep politics out of sports. Yo, go Colby, win it for Trump Daddy. Like, what the fuck?
It is. Yeah. It's absurd.
Whatever, dude.
I really hated how he handled his post-fight and
Dude,
everything, man.
it
It
was
was too
annoying,
much.
dude.
I don't care if it's an act or
It's just
not. It was
cringy.
too much. It was cringy to the maximum level.
Yeah.
You went cringy to a point. You're exploiting.
Yeah,
You're exploiting
using
the
it.
division of the United
Right.
States is what you're doing.
Using it.
Yeah.
And like, did you see? I haven't watched him and Usman got into it on TV afterwards.
And he
Dude.
acts like that fight was just the most unfair
Yeah.
thing in the world. Like, this is an act, dude. You don't feel that way, really.
Yeah.
You know you lost the fucking
And then,
fight.
what he said to Usman was like disgusting. They actually edited it out on the repeat. He said, "Who called you on the?" Donald Trump called Colby on the phone. I don't know if you knew that. He called him on
Yeah,
the
I
phone
seen
during
that.
during TV. He's like, "Who called you on the phone? Your tribe leaders or whoever?" Like he said that to Usman.
Oh my god.
It's like, dude, like that's your president too. Like like he's
Yeah.
like he's Usman's president as well.
Yeah.
And, like,
And no matter
it's,
what.
it's so fucked up to even like go there because it's so.
But Colby would say he's your president.
And it's kind of,
Right.
and it was honestly kind of a racist thing
Dude,
to say.
racist
That's
as shit.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Because like he's from America. What the fuck? Just because he's
Yeah.
an immigrant
He's
or
Marty from Nebraska.
right? And, like, But-
He's Marty from Nebraska.
it's just crazy, like the cognitive dissonance you could have to make different points
What a fucking
about
asshole, dude.
like the president's relationship to its citizens and what America is idealistically, and then like ignore the idea that America is founded on immigrants
Yeah.
that worked hard. Like,
Yeah.
like no matter what you say about Usman, he probably is a hard worker. He's an outstanding athlete. He's represented his country
Oh yeah,
well.
he broke your fucking jaw. Too,
Right,
dude.
and
Yeah.
like have some humbleness about him because he stopped you no matter what you said.
Well, and to me, just regardless, I really hate that you're exploiting the division that
Right.
is the United States, man. Because the United States is so fucking divided right
Dude,
now.
the
It's
It
our
doesn't
country. If
help,
anything,
dude.
you should be jumping in there and trying to help unify things, and you're literally exploiting the division. You're
Right.
like, I'm gonna get all the wild right wingers to love me, and everybody else is gonna hate me, and it's gonna make for pay-per-view numbers. Like, dude, fuck you.
But, like,
Stop doing that.
and, like,
Well, and these are the same people that will tell you keep politics out
Yeah.
of
If a-
sports, and it's just like, dude,
If a
what's
black
funny?
guy in football says anything, or basketball, or any sport, if a black guy says anything about anything, they don't need a voice.
Yeah.
They don't even have
But
to
there's-
say anything. They can just lock arms together, and people are going to boo them.
Right.
But
That
they-
literally got proven.
Right.
They cheer this guy on for bringing
Yeah.
in.
In the Kansas City, the first football game of the year, Kansas City Chiefs versus God, who did they play in the first game? Kansas City Chiefs versus. Regardless, doesn't matter who it was. The other team, instead of kneeling or doing any of that, Texans, they locked arms. They
Right.
didn't kneel during the national anthem. They locked arms, and
They
the
booed.
whole crowd, because they actually had people in there, and the whole crowd, it was like maybe half capacity tops, but they
I wouldn't
all
say
booed.
the whole crowd booed, but there was
Enough-
Well, that's all you could hear.
I don't know. I didn't-
It's
but
all
there-
you could hear was
there
the
were
boos.
There were boos.
So if it was definitely the majority,
Yeah.
like, and so the fact that you're gonna cheer Colby Covington on for
What he
actually
does.
saying crazy shit,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna boo people for just locking arms together to show unity.
Right.
They're literally showing
not even
unity.
like it's not even the support of
But
like really much
you're
of anything.
booing racial unity.
Yeah, and they said instead of going, they literally, the teams got together beforehand. They said instead of doing something for Black Lives Matter, instead of doing something for this, instead of doing something for that, like, let's just show unity. And that's what they wanted to do. So they went out there and just locked arms, all the teams
Despicable
together.
display of unity out there.
You're-
Despicable. Yeah, how dare you guys unify?
You're booing
and-
the idea of unity.
unification of people
So-
getting along.
You're
What are we
straight up-
talking
you're
about?
Straight up saying, I don't like the idea of
Well,
equality.
it's,
of
yes.
it's
races.
because of the way the way things are set up now is like people like Trump because he hates liberals and they also hate liberals. That's literally it.
Yeah.
That's literally the driving mechanism
Yeah,
behind Trump is
the
like
game is
he
to
he will
divide
shit on
and-
liberals and I want to shit on liberals and he's my way to do it.
Yeah.
And that's literally a lot of the sentiment. Like, there's obviously people who support him for whatever policy, whatever fiscal policy you believe
They
in.
like
And
the
listen, I'm
numbers
gonna be
or
honest with you.
whatever.
Even though I there's a lot of things that I feel like I'm pretty liberal in, I will also shit on some of these crazy fucking liberal people.
Yeah, I'm
I-
not
I
voting
abs-
for Joe Biden, dude.
I absolutely will, because some of these, the right wing and the liberals have both went too extreme.
Yeah.
They both have.
Well, not even. It's like they're there's a loud minority on each side that are just crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're at the beck and call of these.
So I will shit on liberals too. I will still say that I am unhappy with Trump, and I will still say that fuck Colby Covington. You're going too far with whatever act.
And like, where's he gonna be if Trump loses in 2 years? Where's his career gonna be in terms of
what's his stick?
Yeah, you can't talk about Trump in 3 years from now if Trump's not president.
Oh no,
are you just gonna anti-Biden if
he'll just go crazy right wing.
Yeah,
that's what he's gonna do.
And it's like I don't know. I feel like it's weird. It's like a fucking political podcast now.
Yeah,
but it's like I mean, I feel like
we just lost. Trump.
I feel like the liberals play to lose. Like the Democratic Party play to lose.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and like not to get into
they're paid to lose.
To me, I honestly think Tulsi Gabbard was the nomination we needed.
But like
I think she's more unifying than anything, and I think we actually need unification more than anything.
Yeah, she's the best.
We need healing.
The shit about RBG dying, and it's like, dude, if she's 84 and Obama's in office, dude, have her retire and pick a new judge.
Yeah.
If you're that worried about it, she's 84 at this point.
Yeah.
Like, don't hedge your bets on winning in elections if you can't know how to win elections right anymore correctly in a way that actually makes sense.
Well, you win elections now by insulting people.
Well, yeah, and it's just like, dude, it's this dumb move from the Democrats to make them look like losers.
Yeah,
and like I'm fairly liberal, but also I'm not. I personally don't identify as a Democrat. I lean to the left, but there's nothing about the party that I identify with. Yeah,
I think all three of us are in agreement here that we fucking hate both presidential candidates.
Right, and it's just like a game of like playing to lose, and like the Republicans are playing a different fucking game altogether.
Yeah,
they're like, it's like scorched earth warfare with Democrats, and Democrats are like, well, we can fucking just trot out whoever and do whatever and just like try to play this different game, and that's why you're shit on. It's easy to shit on you.
They think they're gonna win by default.
And fuck it, we're here. So I am just gonna say my biggest concern at this point is actually, no matter who wins, we're going to have some sort of civil war on our hands.
Yeah.
No matter who wins.
Yeah, the other side is not going to be able to accept it. I'm worried about that either way.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think unification is what we need more than anything. We need healing.
Yeah, and I thought Tulsi was...
Neither of these candidates give us any kind of unification.
Tulsi was the best.
Tulsi was the best chance to get us unification because she has so many right leanings but is left.
Yeah. I don't know how to like fucking... Pandora's box has been open though. Yeah. To a certain extent about the political climate. It's hard to package back up what's been unraveled.
Yeah, I don't know if we're not beyond the breaking point.
What scares me about it is the fact that, people always say the American experiment and we can act like we're the best in the world, but honestly, we are still so juvenile.
200 years in.
We're still so juvenile compared to the rest of the world. Like this literally...
We don't know how this is really going to go.
This literally could all collapse.
Yeah.
It literally could. And we can't get on the same page as Americans, as a country, and we're so divided.
Yeah. We're worried
this isn't happening in other countries.
We're worried about shitting on each other more than we are about
about actually trying to be a great country.
The world. Yeah.
I mean,
it's bad, man.
I mean, like as someone who's left, and like Donald Trump winning, and like you look at it, and it's like you've come to realize too that there's people that voted for Trump, and that you have to sort of reconcile that they did for reasons that make sense to them and their culture and the way that they live, and like people who are blue collar, and there's a lot of there's a lot more to it, and you come from a place of like sort of pretension, that you assume, oh, they're just fucking dumb and racist, whatever you're gonna say. Yeah. But over years, it's like
but not all Trump supporters are racist.
No, I'm not saying that.
I know a few good people that are Trump.
Yeah, right. I've got quite a few friends that are Trump supporters,
and they're good people.
And I think they're good people. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, but like it's just easy. It's easy to come from a place of like condescension about people who think differently than you. And it's easy to shit on somebody who's not you. Like I'm not very like that, and they're like this. It's like, but you just think like, well, it makes sense to you what you think. But it has to be justified by somebody else.
Colby's fans, keep politics out of sports. Look what we're talking about because of Colby.
Right now, all we're talking about is politics because of what Colby did. Which I do want to jump off of, but I do actually. What I do actually want to do is, because I did want to do another gathering of fools, and I like the way we're having this conversation. Would you guys both be down for a gathering of fools next Saturday?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Well,
I think
what time?
Whatever time you want, I'm off.
I could probably do it.
I could probably do early. Well, the fights are on next Saturday, so I don't want that to be.
I say maybe
hit it at 5:00 right before the.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fine. Yeah, I can
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because I'm gonna watch those fights too. Maybe we'll all watch them together.
Fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys are down for that, that would be
Let's do
awesome.
it.
I want to do a gathering. I haven't done one in a while. I really want to get another one back in. I love the conversation we're having. I think it's an important conversation
to be continued. And
yeah, because we can't. We're a UFC podcast right now. Or an MMA podcast, really UFC podcast. But I want to get into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to piss. I'm going to let you guys finish talking about the actual fight.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
But yeah, this fight went about as expected as I thought.
Okay, so at first though, I thought Woodley he looked like he had some energy to him and a
little more urgency.
Yeah, definitely, and as opposed to his last 2 fights, and it slowly went away, and Colby
that
kept wearing him
takedown
down.
I think really dissuaded him from coming forward as because he had taken
But it
out.
shouldn't have, because he was very successful in getting up.
Right.
So I was like, okay, you don't need to worry about that takedown so much, because he couldn't do anything with it. He got up pretty well. So, just keep with your game plan. And his whole plan seems to be to lure him into the cage and fire on him, but he doesn't fire.
Right.
He does,
that trigger's broken.
Yeah, and it's just like, what's going on? Like, if I'm Woodley's coach after the 3rd round, I'm like, dude, I want you to die out there.
Yeah.
I want you to go out there and use your body to the point that you're trying to kill yourself by killing him.
And if you get stopped, it's like you don't look any worse, because say you get stopped, say you fail and you get stopped, but at least you showed something differently in this fight.
Yeah. At least at that point in this fight, you showed some okay, you
right.
have.
If you lose the same way 3 times in a row, that says worse about you.
Thing. You've lost 15 straight rounds being hesitant and doing nothing and not firing. He's backing Woodley up to the cage, and I think Woodley doesn't want to fire because he doesn't want to let him in. But Colby's ultimately getting in anyway. So fire when he's coming in at you and make him hesitate to come in.
Right, because you're not gonna dissuade him by just thinking of firing.
No,
you're not gonna stop him
or
from
fainting the whole time. Every time, he fainted how many times?
He fainted more than he threw punches for sure.
It's frustrating. It's insanely frustrating, dude.
Because I'd rather you lose in a different way than lose the same way you've been losing for a few years now.
Yeah, exactly. You're literally losing the same fight every time.
You're losing because you won't fight.
Yeah,
right.
Do something different.
Yeah.
Dude.
Throw a punch.
I don't care if you lose.
Keep throwing them.
And if you notice,
you got knockout power.
Yeah.
Throw him.
Throw it.
And I noticed it too. I don't know if you know, he took down Colby very easily in the first round. He literally just grabbed his legs and Colby kind of fell.
And Colby got him down, and he got up very easily from it.
He's literally just not, for the first time, he's literally just not fighting. Even when he is on the ground, because the second time he didn't get up, but he had multiple opportunities to have his foot inside Colby's hips and push him off, and he never did it.
He wanted to lay there for a while.
His foot was actually sometimes this close to being on the complete inside of his hip where he could have pushed off, and he never even tried to move it in.
But he did get up pretty well, and it's you should realize now, I can get up.
Yeah.
But, maybe Colby doesn't really care to throw me on my ass because he didn't do anything with it.
Colby didn't
your game is to lure him in, so why are you not firing when you lure him in?
And then I think I heard you say as well that he kind of looked good at first.
Yeah.
And I think the first takedown.
I told you, I said that.
Yeah. I think the first takedown. Yeah. He was like, now I'm going to put my back up against the cage because I know he can't take me down here.
That's what I said is I don't think it should have dissuaded him so much because he got up.
But how many times?
Shouldn't have.
But how many times can... Realistically, he knows his body. Does he think he can't get up? Does he think he can't get up that many times like that?
He's
how much energy?
He's old. He's tired.
It's
over, Rock.
I actually don't think he would have had that big of a problem. And I think once he started fucking touching Colby's shin, because we talked about this pre-podcast, but he was stopping a lot of his throws, and it's like, why wouldn't you just throw that, man? You were in no danger of anything.
No.
Colby was on his back foot, so he wasn't going to go for a takedown, and you still didn't throw it.
I feel like this is the least dangerous matchup he's had since before Usman. I feel like
Colby's a volume striker.
Yeah, Usman and Burns are more lethal than Colby is.
Yeah,
Burns hits harder than Colby does.
And that Woodley,
has thicker BJJ.
When Woodley did that Superman punch off the cage, I'm like, that's the kind of shit.
Yeah, if you're gonna have your back against a cage, do some shit like that. I do have to say, though, Colby's striking, I think, did actually look... It still wasn't powerful. It still wasn't the best thing out there, but it looked a lot better than previous, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean... It's
not just economical, but cleaner. It actually looked a little bit more like boxing. Like, some of his fights leading up to him getting to the title, it's like he just ran forward and just threw punches like this.
Yeah.
He was actually, setting shit up.
I feel like Usman has an easier time with Colby in the second fight, though. I feel like Usman... I feel like Usman could be like one of those Jones
What is
type.
it with Woodley, dude? He just wants his back on the cage. Like, why? Why you want the like? He puts himself there.
But he
wants
puts
his
himself
back
in
on the
nothing but
cage.
danger. He put himself in the perfect position for Colby Covington.
What were you just saying? I interrupted.
Yeah.
you.
No, I said that like I feel like Usman could be one of those Jones type of fighters that can make adjustments fight to fight if he gets a rematch. How Jones historically has done better in rematches. That Usman probably could beat Colby in a better way this time. I think so, at least, because I don't think Colby showed anything, but like his striking is a little more clean.
Yeah.
But like I think if Usman took down Colby, like if Woodley took down Colby, Usman probably can.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think Usman easily beats Colby again, but I don't know if I'd call it better. I mean, he just beat the fuck out of Colby.
Yeah, it was close.
close.
The striking was close, but then Usman, I mean,
Just battered him.
I want the
bigger.
Usman fight for Colby now, just because I want to see Usman fuck him up again.
I feel
give
like
him somebody.
Burns can fuck up Colby too.
Yeah.
Burns hits hard as fuck.
I agree.
And you don't want to take down Burns.
I haven't watched enough Burns fights, but it just seems like Burns is actually like for not enough people knowing about him. It seems like a pretty well-rounded, really good
Isn't
fighter.
Burns Usman's fight?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're fighting in
yeah.
December. But like I just feel like you don't want to take down
He's-
Burns.
Probably Burns
No.
doesn't win against Usman. I think Usman's going to reign for quite a while.
I mean, like Burns had
Until Kazbak gets there.
well, like Burns is like, I mean, he's like a high-level ADCC champion, and he's a hard striker with good technique, good Muay Thai fighter. Like he dropped Woodley. Like I feel like Colby did worse against Woodley than Usman and Burns did. Burns dropped him, fucked him up, and,
Yeah.
like beat him, pretty much pillar to post, and did whatever he wanted to him. Colby did that too, but like a less violent version. Usman took him down, beat him up on the ground more than Colby did. So I feel like Colby had a less impressive performance than Woodley, even though he looked good relatively to
Yeah.
He looked pretty similar to how he does. His striking looked a little bit better.
I think it's
His
time
striking
for-
looked a little bit better.
Time
yeah.
for Woodley to retire.
I think it's time for Woodley to retire.
Go
as
to
well.
Bellator or one, juice up.
It's
Oh, no.
it's either you retire or it doesn't matter if he juices up because he's gun shy.
Well, it's like
Well,
That's the problem.
That's some confidence.
You're
that
in a
they-
weight division where you're 38. You're ancient in that weight.
Yeah,
division.
but I still don't think if he would actually just start fighting. You're not fighting.
It's a mental.
I still
thing,
don't
though.
think. I still don't think.
I
If
think
he starts, I think with right now how he's doing, he's outside of the top 10 in no time if he keeps fighting.
Well,
But
he shouldn't even
if
be
he-
in the top 10 now.
He hasn't won in a while.
But
yeah.
if he starts actually like you have so much power, dude. Leg kicks, because you have the biggest legs I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, huge.
Leg kicks, body kicks, punches. You have knockout
Who's
power in your
smaller?
hands. You can rock people. You will not throw punches.
I've never seen him in a prolonged striking battle.
No.
Like I've never
Yeah,
seen
like,
him in the
a
pocket.
bunch
Like
of exchanges,
Yeah, where-
dirty fight.
I've never seen him like jab, throw like crosses, uppercuts.
And it's
hooks.
like his chin doesn't seem bad. Why are you
No.
afraid to take those?
His shit does not seem bad at all. It was the other thing that's crazy to me is he's called himself
the greatest welterweight.
the greatest
of all time.
welterweight of all time.
Like
You're out of your
where?
fucking
Woodley?
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. King of welterweights. Best welterweight of all time.
Dude, GSP is not even the greatest welterweight of all time, but probably the greatest
fighter.
MMA athlete of all time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what are you talking about?
I feel like Woodley doesn't have like. He's a great athlete and strong. Has these intangibles that make him successful. Has made him successful in MMA, but he's not really a fighter.
You know what, dude?
Like,
His
he's
mother
mentally-
raised something
mentally.
better than that, too. You know what I mean? Like, his mom, you ever seen his mother?
Yeah.
She's the fucking sweetest lady on the planet Earth, dude.
Yeah.
And, like, she raised you to be more humble than that. I'm
Yeah.
guaranteed. Like,
Well, especially with your non-humbleness is dumb.
Yeah,
Like, you're definitely not the best welterweight of all time.
he's probably top 10.
Yeah.
He's been
I
champion.
might even give him top 5.
Yeah, just because the division has like
I
GSP
feel sad
looms
for
high.
his mother, dude. That's
Yeah. Like,
that's
it,
sad.
it's fucking absurd.
Well,
But-
but like I said, I just feel like he's not mentally like made for war
Yeah.
in the way that some people are made for war. You know what I mean? Like he's not. He doesn't go to war with people. He just doesn't have that in him. He doesn't have a
Yeah,
dog
he
in
was
him.
better technically for
I
so
feel like
long
he just
and-
caught Robbie Lawler at the right time.
Yeah, he caught Robert Lawler with a good punch, and every other fight was like this. It just the people who were fighting didn't fight
Yeah,
like
they didn't
this.
get over
You
the
know what I
hump.
mean? They,
Yeah.
Like Wonder Boy doesn't fight like this,
Yeah.
and I feel like
And he looked awful in Wonder Boy fights, too.
yeah, and like his timing has gotten worse
And
Yeah.
then what, Maya?
because you think
So it's like looking back on Woodley, it's like it's not. It wasn't.
it was an okay reign,
impressive,
but it wasn't
yeah.
like he was beaten these are the
No
best.
wonder Dana didn't want to pay his ass. And shit.
Yeah.
I remember he was talking about
fighting.
He was talking about Gubbin fighting a middleweight. Like, what the fuck? You got dwarfed by
Yeah,
Colby
you're fucking
Covington.
He thought he was nullifying people, but really he was just
being boring as
wading
fuck.
in the water. Dude.
Yeah. He should have not worried about trying to fight GSP so hard during his title reign. And
GSP
just worried
would've
about
fucked him
improving,
up.
keep improving. I do believe GSP would have fucked
I mean,
him up.
I take back that I think
I
Woodley
think-
maybe could have beat GSP in his prime.
Yeah,
I said
Woodley-
that.
Woodley
Did you
hit-
say that?
I said that
Yeah,
before.
that's crazy.
I think that Woodley, like when he was in his prime form and his champion, like against
It
Wonder
would have been
Boy,
a good match.
he could probably maybe catch GSP like with one of his right hands because like he would throw that shit fast and
Yeah.
his timing was better back then.
Yeah.
I feel like the year off, a year off. It's like when you're that old, your timing slips. It's like it's not there.
You got to keep it sharp.
Right, and like if you're not fighting as often, and if you're distracted,
How old is GSP now?
40,
38?
probably 40.
I
Is
don't
he
know.
the same age as Woodley?
Let's look up GSP.
I think he's like 39 or 40.
Yeah.
GSP looks shredded still.
Well, the rumor is he's making his way to fight Khabib.
He's 39.
So he's a year older.
39.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see GSP versus Khabib. I'd watch it, but I don't really care about
I
that
don't
fight.
want to see it.
I'd watch it, but it
If
means
Khabib
nothing.
beats Gaethje, I want to see it.
I just feel like because like I don't care about GSP at a weight class that's not 170. There's like it's weird to like 155, 165, whatever catch weight they'd be at. Like I don't know what that says about like GSP in terms of like him as a fighter.
Dude, if
I either want to see it at 170 or at 155.
If Khabib
I don't
beats
want to see a
Gaethje-
catch
Yeah,
weight.
that's what I mean.
If
It's-
Khabib
If he beats him at 155
That's way more
and wins the
impressive.
belt, yes.
If Khabib beats Gaethje and fucking GSP came back and beat Khabib, I'd be like, dude, he's the greatest of all time.
He's already the
Yeah.
greatest.
Hands
If he lost,
down.
even if he lost to Khabib, he'd be the greatest still.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to see him. I just don't want to see a catch weight fight. I want to see
Because it doesn't. Yeah.
170
Before-
or 155.
Well, like, and also, but there'd be those question marks like, old GSP came back at a weight class he never fought in and lost. What's that say about? So there's more questions.
Yeah.
About him going down. Like that's
Yeah.
why it sucks to even have the fight because they're not naturally in the right weight class.
Right.
Like it's not like there's no reigning champion at 170 for him to come back and fight maybe Usman.
But the appeal at 155 is there because then he's a three weight class
Yeah.
champion.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
But like him versus Usman, I'd watch too.
Yeah.
I would rather see that.
Yeah, because I mean like. The storyline of former champion that retired
Because
on top
I legit
coming
think
back to fight the
Usman
champion.
I legit think
He's the
Usman
best
is the
170.
Highlander of that. Like he's, I mean, he's
Yeah.
taken all of that fucking everything that is valuable in that division and sucked it all up. You know what I mean? If you could beat if GSP
Beats
come back and
Usman, that's
Usman,
that's a
it
better win at
says-
170 than Khabib, I think.
It
Because
Yeah.
says that I could beat anybody forever.
Well, and him beating Usman is obviously better than him beating Bisping as well.
right, and like I just feel like I don't know, just for his story and for his legacy, it means a lot more to come back
I don't
at
think
the
he
weight
could
class.
beat Usman though.
No, he's too big
I
and
think
fucking
Usman's
strong
a
and
bad
young.
motherfucker. Dude.
You just never know. Like if GSP starts throwing those kicks out there like he used to back in the day, that's a whole nother beast.
Talking about
The
2005.
jabs.
You're talking about 2006.
You don't
know?
think that dude is still flexible as fuck? He's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
But I mean,
he's Jean-Claude Van
Jesus,
Damme in a real
man.
fighter's body.
yeah, I mean,
aliens have altered George St. Pierre's DNA. dude.
yeah, but I mean, I think he could look good. He didn't look that great in the Bisping fight. Like he looked rusty. He looked very
He looked
rusty.
rusty is what
yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like slow.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like I just don't. It doesn't bode well. Oh,
Honestly, if I was him and I was going to come back for one of those fights, I'd be putting on real fights, not on air, in my gym
and just seeing what's up.
against decent
Killers.
level opponents. Yeah,
Fight Roy McDonald, who's your friend or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously, fight somebody.
seriously, yeah.
Because-
I think Roy McDonald's almost a perfect example because he's kind of out of his prime, but still a really great martial artist.
Yeah.
So, because I don't want him to go in there and fight like people like Kamaru Usman,
And get
like at
fucked
that
up.
level. You know what I mean? Like, no, go in there and get some tune-up fights, but literally do it like fights.
Yeah.
But just in your gym, no cameras.
See where you're at.
See where you're at. Well, because that's the only way you're gonna get that ring rust off you, man, is to be in some real fights.
You know what I hate too about this like discussion about this fight is I've been hearing about him versus Khabib for like 2 years, and it's like, dude, you're getting old as fuck.
Yeah, you should have did
Like
it 2 years
shit or
ago.
get off the pot because Father Time will crumple any chance you have at winning that fight. If you're
Yeah.
41 and you want to come back and fight, that's not the time to do it.
The time to
38
do it
was,
is always
37
now.
was.
Yeah.
Then it just like, it becomes less alluring over time as he gets older because I'm like, man, he's just gonna be more out of his form. He
Yeah.
just is. It just it's just fucking biology. Your body's gonna degrade.
Something we got to get into, and something we got to get better at, is at the beginning of the conversation of each of these fights, we have to say like how the fight was won, because now we're just now going to talk about how this fight was won. This is the first time. So it ended up in the 5th round. Tyron Woodley broke a rib. Broke a rib trying to maneuver Colby Covington, and
people are saying he faked it.
I don't think he faked it.
No, I don't either.
Like,
honestly, it was the first thought that crossed my mind, though. I don't think he did.
I went out of here.
I don't think it was I went out of here. It's like, oh well, if I break a rib here, then there's a reason. If I fake an injury here, there's a reason I lost this fight.
Well,
it's the first thing that popped in my mind, but it didn't matter.
Lost.
You already lost.
You're getting 50-40 forward. Or 50-45 even,
So he started yelling after Colby Covington popped his head out of the guillotine attempt or whatever.
I think Willie sat up. He sat up.
He was trying to sit up. There was a weird thing going on in this area of his body, the rib / arm area, armpit, and he started yelling immediately after Colby Covington popped his head out of there. Oh, my rib, my rib, my rib. Yeah. I mean, yelling it out loud. I think it was real, but it was the first thought that crossed my mind, like, oh, he's trying to get out of this loss.
Yeah,
but you lost anyway.
Yeah, you were for sure getting your ass beat.
You lost 15 straight rounds.
And
of fighting.
What I will say is, I think what Colby Covington should take away from the fight is he actually really has a way to finish people, because his elbows from ground and pound looked deadly. Better. He was cutting him the fuck up. He was just lacerating fucking cuts all over his face.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten a lot better with the ground and pound. I still think, like, it's hard to do that against Burns and Usman. Mm-hmm. You can't get that ground and pound off against Burns. You're not taking Usman down like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wonder how it's going to match up to the higher level guys that are around him.
Yeah.
Or even even Leon Edwards, because like Leon Edwards, like, can he stuff these takedowns and like fight his fight? I don't know.
But what I'm saying is, I think that Colby Covington, typically, we're not ever expecting him to finish a fight. We're expecting him to just get his best case scenario is a dominant decision.
Yeah.
Right? We're not expecting him to finish. But I think if he incorporates those elbows, he does, as much as I hate him, he has a possibility of finishing some fights because there's just blood everywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I can't help but see his style as like a smaller, weaker version of Usman's style. I just can't help but see it. Like how their fight.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. It's like a less effective and a smaller. He looks smaller than Usman and like weaker. And like that's why the striking battle, for as long as it went, like it was even, but the bigger guy wears on you more.
Power just ran.
Yeah, the power wears on you longer.
I will say, if they fight again, I don't think Usman should actually sit there and try to do a stand-up war with him, because I think Colby Covington's striking looked better in this. And even though Usman definitely has more power in his hands, even in that fight, he is very kind of one-dimensional. Usman is very one-dimensional in his striking.
I think Usman wanted.
It's very squared off. It's very.
I think Usman wanted to beat him up though.
I think everybody should want to beat him up.
Yeah. But like, Usman also is improving as well. There's nothing to say that he couldn't catch up to his striking, because like we haven't seen Usman fight like this. Usman fought the fight he needed to fight against Masvidal, and that was a different fight than this was.
Yeah.
So it showed different things about him. So whatever, that's a wash. It's not going to show anything about this fight again.
No.
So he could be better at striking his next time around and be more confident to show it off against Colby. Yeah. It could be better than Colby's. It could be worse than Colby's, but we'll have to see what happens,
The crazy thing about Kamaru Usman I want to throw out there is Kamaru Usman is this dominant of a champion. I don't see anybody beating him in the near future. Maybe Gilbert proves me wrong, but he does this with no knees.
Who?
Yeah.
Usman.
Are they bad?
His knees are terrible. Can't do cardio.
He does it in the pool because he
can't run.
That's crazy.
That's how bad his knees are. He can't just go for a run.
It's wild that his cardio is so good,
and he can't go for a run.
Yeah. It's wild.
You didn't know that?
I think I knew that, but I always forget because
his knees are real bad. Yeah. All right.
Probably wrestling all of his life, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna get into rankings. We're actually going to use a new site. We're gonna get into matchups. We're gonna use a new site for the rankings. We think it might be a little bit better. We'll see how it plays out. So we're going to start with Holland versus Stewart at middleweight. So let's get to middleweight here. Load. Okay, so Holland versus Stewart. Let's see where they're at, because I feel like they're actually going to be in here. So Kevin Holland is 23. So I'd say
I'd like to see them run this fight back. To be honest,
if they don't run the
if
fight,
they don't run it back.
if they don't run it back, then I actually think
I'm glad they showed the actually rankings past.
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
we
that's
get
nice.
more.
That's nice.
So I think Kevin Holland, if they don't run that back, I'd like to go ahead and see him fight maybe Brad Tavares.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Little bit of a name. It is definitely a little bit of a jump up. I
don't
like
think
that
it's that
fight.
big. I think Brad Tavares hasn't looked good in a while. Like, like he fights once a year.
So that's a good fight for Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I agree, but like I feel like it's about right because he's lost his last two, one fight a year.
You could take,
But
Tavares'
also,
soul
who did he
here.
lose his last two to?
Yeah.
Shabazian and Adesanya, but like that's so long ago. He hasn't had a win in what 3-4 years.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So like it's just like, well, I don't know where if that's an inflated ranking there. He might be 20. He might
Yeah.
be 23.
But I think that's a good fight for
Or
him.
Krzysztof Jotko. Look at that guy. He's on the 3 fight wins.
Ian Heinisch. He just
But
beat Mir Sharp by
Jotko's
TKO.
probably wanting to move up, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I need those guys too. I'm like,
I just think for Kevin Holland, Brad Tavares is more of a name
Kevin
than a
Holland,
lot of those people
Chimaev.
around him, just because he's been around so long.
Yeah.
Chimaev and Kevin Holland, dude.
I'd watch it
I'd watch it, but oh man, don't do
Well,
that.
it might actually test Chimaev, you know what
Because-
I mean? It might,
He'll take him
yeah,
down
he'd
and
fucking
maul him.
rock him, dude. I know.
Just take him to the ground.
Yeah.
I don't think Kevin Holland has, from what I saw in that last fight and the
No,
fight before
yeah.
that, he can
If
handle
Stewart's
the
gonna-
pressure of him being up against him.
If
Like
Stewart's gonna rain bombs on anybody in the third round like that, Chimaev's doing it.
if
in
Stewart's
round
gonna
one.
control you a little bit up against the cage, Chimaev is gonna fucking maul you like a
Yeah.
bear. So, all right. So I think that's good for him.
Tavares.
Darren Stewart. I
he
don't
can fight one of
honestly.
those guys too.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't
Yeah,
care about
same.
unless he fights Kevin Holland. To be honest with you. So then we're gonna go to women's strawweight.
I love the top 25 fighters now
Yeah,
This is
it's
great.
nice to have that up there.
because it's like there's people I don't even think of. Like I would never thought of any of those guys in
Yeah.
the bottom of the 15.
Yeah, this
25.
is gonna be better.
Oh, this doesn't have strawweight. So is a strawweight not where she's at, or maybe it's just below this?
150.
There it is.
There it is.
There's an
Now,
ad
how
there.
weird
An
is
ad
that?
in
Just
the
for
middle.
one class.
Oh, it don't matter. It doesn't matter much really.
No, it doesn't. Come on. Look, they're like, we're not even gonna load this up.
So
Where's she at?
she's
Mackenzie
down.
Dern.
Oh, she
So
lost. She already lost to Rebus. See, she already beat Rebus. Rebus should be higher, dude.
Esparza. Well, this is the thing is like people like Esparza probably are going upwards.
Like, and I don't
Tisha
even know
Torres.
who Yan is. Yeah, Tisha Torres. I like
think that's
Tisha
a good
Torres.
fight.
I like Tisha Torres, Amanda Ribas. Even though they've already fought and she lost, it's still like, okay, you're on your comeback track. You won 2 fights in a row. Amanda Ribas has 3 fights in a row, though. She shouldn't go back like that. But the last one was
Yeah.
Paige Van Zandt
I
at the same
think-
time.
I think Torres
Who, Ribas?
is the
Yeah.
match.
Well, that was
for
actually pretty
Dern.
recently. She's fighting Esparza in December. Look. So,
Oh, yeah.
so
Look
she's
at that.
getting-
Look at this. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this gives us a little bit more information about matchups that we can.
So yeah,
actually,
Dern versus Tisha Torres, I think would be.
Yeah. I think that's a fair fight.
or I mean, like I'd watch Watterson versus Dern.
Yeah, but do you think
Yeah.
Watterson after that last fight is going to go back?
It depends because she needs a little bit more,
Yeah.
a little more streak, and Dern is a big name in the division.
Yeah, dude, that
Yeah,
would give
that's
her.
true. She's a
That
big
would give
name.
her a big push if she could.
And it's
win,
like actually
if she
a
could
good
come
style.
out violent and win that fight.
It's actually a good matchup because her striking's way better than Dern's is,
Yeah.
and she's good at takedown defense. She has great takedown defense.
And Dern wants to show off her striking,
So it'd be-
Yeah.
so it'd be a good fight for her if she thinks she really has striking.
I just think it's a fight I'd tune in.
Right,
People
because
would
like
tune in for.
if you put
I'd for sure watch it.
if you put her against somebody else like Marina Rodriguez or whatever,
That's
it's
a
like,
co-main on a fight night. You know what
yeah,
I
like
mean?
that's a big name for the division. That's a
Yeah.
big fight for the division in terms of name. There's not a lot of fights that could have that draw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for women, Dern versus Watterson, I think is a good fight.
Yeah,
even
actually-
Hill.
Yeah. Where's
Yeah.
Hill rated at on here?
She's high, I think. No, she's
No,
low.
sorry.
16.
But we all know Hill is probably
Top 10.
Hill's top 10, dude.
Yeah. Yeah,
Really?
I think she's probably top 10.
She won that fight. She won the last 2 fights. She should be fucking.
I don't know if she won the Watterson fight, but I
She
wouldn't be mad if they would have said she won the fight.
Yeah.
So I
But
can't.
she's not anywhere. Like it's
She
weird.
definitely won the fight before that.
Yep.
Like how the fuck is she? How is Marina Rodriguez that high? You know, like how
Yeah.
she lost to Carla and this
A draw to
Cynthia Calvillo. So
Yeah.
like,
But the reason you have to go with that, what I think this site is doing is it's actually going by wins and losses, which unfortunately for Angela Hill those losses are
they
detrimental.
Count, man,
Yeah.
but if we're
Just
making
is what it is.
if we're making matches though, we can.
If we're making matches, we could put Angela
Not worry
Hill
about
anywhere
the
inside the
fucking
top 10.
rankings,
And I would be like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, I would put Angela Hill anywhere in the top 10.
All right.
But yeah, I like Mackenzie Dern versus Watterson. I think that's a good fight to make.
Yeah.
I think it's one that everybody will tune in to watch, and I think it would be interesting.
Only if they scissored.
That's it. That's all you want. All right.
Just like misogyny, just not even
it just
Brandon.
flows out of you so easily.
That's only at the tip of the iceberg. I hide the rest.
All right, so now we're gonna go. Oh God, here we go. So now we're gonna go light heavyweight, and we're going to
Johnny
be looking
Walker.
at Johnny Walker.
Yeah. See, it's funny because like I said, Glass Cannon, dude. I don't think he's that skilled, but I'll watch his fights, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He's either getting knocked out or knocking somebody out. It's fun.
His offensive striking, I think, is phenomenal.
Yeah.
His defensive striking
This
is
is
terrible, and he has a glass fucking jaw.
So it makes for exciting fights.
Right. Like I don't, but like I'd rather watch him than fucking Misha Serkinov, who has a better jaw.
Give
and-
him Evan
and, like,
St.
you know,
Preux so that he
Dude.
don't get
No
bombed
lie,
on.
that's exactly the fight I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Was Ovid St. Preux.
Do
Ovid
it.
St. Preux's coming off a win.
They're both coming off a win.
Johnny Walker's coming off a win. It is a jump
It's
up.
somebody that ain't gonna bomb on you like crazy. Like,
Yeah, it's not too far up the ladder for Johnny Walker
I-
for how bad he
I
got
think
beat,
it's a good
or for
fight.
how bad he got beat
it's
in
two
the beginning.
names that people recognize.
Yeah, again,
It's a co-main.
it's co-main, co-main on a fight night.
But I was reading that Yuri Proyaka wants to fight Glover in October. He wants to step in for.
Oh yeah, and that's actually the other news I wanted
sorry,
to talk
sorry.
about. No, that's okay.
Who was the guy that fought Walker again?
Fucking Ryan Spawn.
Spawn.
Yeah.
So even Spawn though, I think should probably. I mean,
Let's see what-
Ozdemir and Spawn.
That's a big jump.
That's a big jump,
Jimmy Crute.
and he's just
But
lost.
Spawn should have won, dude.
But he
fucking-
didn't win. He got elbowed to death.
Whatever.
There's no ref. He'd be dead.
Yeah, if there's no ref, he'd be dead. That's
Yeah.
without a doubt.
That's a
But
loss.
still, but Ozdemir.
Pretty clear.
Hasn't Ozdemir lost his last fight?
Ozdemir got knocked out by Yuri Proyaka, but which is, I mean, I think he can fight Jimmy Crute, whoever the fuck that is.
I think Jimmy Crute or that.
Well, he's fighting Modestas Bukakis.
Bukaki.
Bukaki versus Crute.
who's Bukaki?
Ah,
Crute
not
Bukaki.
me.
Where's this Medusas guy at?
I think Bukaki's the reason why John Jones left the division. He's
Yeah,
scared of him.
he's-
He's running from Bukaki.
Bukaki,
He's coming.
dude.
I don't even know who Bukaki is. He's not even on here.
There is no.
He might be a fucking like. I feel like if you have a name like that, I'm like.
There he is. He's 32.
But
He's number 32
Click
in the
on him.
division.
is even. He might be some like fucking this young Russian killer.
Yeah.
In my head, like if you're some random name Russian guy, you're some champion of some organization I've never heard of, and you've been knocking cans out, and I'm ready to see you.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
That's always a possibility.
Yeah, it's
with
just like
Russians. Yeah.
you never know because it's just like if you're just some random fucking fighter that I've never heard of, I'm like, oh, he's probably pretty okay.
Yeah.
Because light heavyweight has his fighters just like
So
he was a champion over here for a while.
St. Preux versus Walker. That is everybody.
Yeah.
that's
St. Preux
great.
versus Walker. I think that's where it's at. I like that fight a lot.
I
All
think
right.
St. Preux wins that fight, by the way. Only because I think he takes him down.
I even if he doesn't take him down, I still think he might win it. He's
He's
just
slow though, dude.
he's
Yeah.
slow, but he's
Powerful.
He's
But I think he
powerful
does
and
try to
slightly
wrestle.
calculated,
I think
even
he
though he's
wrestles
slow.
him
He
quite well.
has the weirdest game because like I'm like I don't know what the fuck St. Preux is even good at. Like I don't even know. He has weird wins.
But if you're trying to build Johnny Walker, I think it's a good fight. You know, what I mean,
St. Preux
because
is a
he
pretty
should
decent
win.
name in the
Like,
division. He has a lot of history there.
Yeah.
All right.
So now, are we going to look at for Kazmat? Are we going to look at welterweight or middleweight?
well, he's fighting Damian Maia at welterweight. That's already a done thing unless it changes.
Yeah.
So we could look at
Assuming he fucking demolishes Damian Maia, like
Which-
he will.
that's sad. Like I said to Kyle, he should pull out of that fight.
he should definitely pull out of that fight.
Because like it's
What,
just like why take that as your last fight?
There was a lot of UFC fighters in their tweets that were like, "Oh, Kazmat just retired Damian Maia."
Yeah. It's just like you're 42 or whatever. You have nothing to prove to anybody.
Yeah.
If he subs
There-
Kazmat, that'd be
You're
fucking
literally
sick.
just
There was-
taking cash to get knocked the fuck.
There was
out.
one person that said something to the effect of, "Wow, with this one fight, Kazmat just beat two people."
Yeah.
Because he also beat Damian Maia.
Well, but it depends on Kazmat's game plan because he's crazy enough to come in and try to sub him, and like that's not a sure bet.
I don't
Damian
think
Maia is fucking sick on the ground, dude.
I think he might say that, and I think once
And
he
he
got him
still
there,
ends up just-
I think once he got him, like took him down,
Well,
I think
you
he
realize-
probably just beat the shit out of
You
him.
realize, like, oh, I have to just punch this dude.
But
Yeah.
but
it's wide open. Like,
it just
you're
like
doing
I
it.
don't know, dude. It's like the bravado and confidence can be a downfall whenever you try to make a point, improve a point with a fight. You know, like it's like saying like if you're a wrestler and like, oh, I'm gonna try to strike with Izzy or strike with Anderson Silva just to prove a point. It's like, could you? Maybe, but also, is that your best way to win? Probably
I
not.
will say, even though Damian Maia, as I think we all agree on, is maybe the best Brazilian.
you said breast.
The best Brazilian jiu-jitsu technician in MMA history, that at this point of his career, Khamzat might just be too strong for him to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
I don't
Like, oh, he got my arm.
Yeah,
He's
Cool.
gonna power out.
Yeah.
We're acting like this dude's a fucking Superman.
yeah. I
But
mean,
He hasn't given us
Yeah,
any
I know.
reason to think otherwise.
well, I just gotta look at like what he's done to people, and it's like it's impressive, but also it's different fights for like the two different fights he's had. Besides this fight, it doesn't say how well he could wrestle somebody else with better wrestling. This just shows that he has way better striking than Jared Mearshart and just fucking cleaned him out real fast. But like the skill wise, is he as good on the ground as a Damian Maia?
Right.
He beat a warm body at 170 who came to the UFC with his debut. I don't know how good he is on the ground at 170.
Yeah,
against
we don't
Damian
I
Maia.
agree. The issue is the reason we are so high on him is just because
The
of the
performances.
extreme domination.
Right.
It's extreme.
Yeah, he does that. Like,
We've
he
never seen anything like it.
Yeah,
We haven't.
No.
Can you think of one fight that you saw
I
where
mean,
somebody was
Connor back in
dominant?
the day, but it
He got hit.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
it's
it
just
was
not.
close,
It's
but-
not that dominating.
I'm just ready to see some questions and people that can give him some questions and answer some questions. And if he continues to successfully, like, answer the questions in a way that keeps this up,
Yeah.
of course, he could go up to the top and just rise real fast.
And I think Damian Maia, it actually doesn't really answer any questions.
No, it just depends on how he fights him.
Yeah,
if he goes and subs him, that answers so many more questions than most. That's if he's fighting.
But if Chimaev just comes out and pummels him,
yeah, that's
like, what is that?
that's not even better than the Mearshart win.
Yeah.
In my head,
Agreed.
But like if he goes out and if he gets swept by Damian Maia and gets in a bad spot or loses a decision grappling based, Damian Maia answers questions. If he subs him and pounds him out, they answers different questions. So I'm just ready to see.
Right.
Even if like Maia got him on the ground and was able to grapple with him for a
Right,
little bit, and
and
Mearshart gets up and fucks him up, it still answers a little more questions. Okay, he can deal with some
bad
jiu-jitsu.
spots.
But here's my question for you: would either of you be upset if Khamzat, whether it be welterweight or middleweight, if they ended up putting him up against a top 5 opponent?
No, not at all. I
No,
understand it at this point. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
let's-
if
You're not upset about it.
let's
No.
throw him
Do you
in the
question
water.
it? Maybe.
I mean, like I just do. I think he has like. It's hard to gauge because it's
But
like
those performances are so good. It's like, okay, I'm willing to see you throw this dude into the deep water and see what
It's the
happens.
most domination we've ever seen.
yeah, and like
3
it's-
wins
and
in
it doesn't-
66
and if
days,
he goes
3
into-
punches thrown.
If he goes into the top 5 and has a good fight and loses, well, it says like, okay,
Hold him
you
down-
know,
hold him
he's
back a
still-
little
he's really
Yeah.
good. Like
He's really good, but let's give him
Yeah.
let's push him back a little bit.
Yeah.
he's young, and we'll see. But
Yeah.
I mean, if he's able to go against a top 5 guy and have a great fight,
Well-
then it says like this dude's a future champion.
Well,
probably.
and
Yeah.
you got to think about too, like if you fight somebody like a top 5, if he fights Jared Cannonier is not going to be afraid of him. He's just not.
No.
And the mental aspect is very important.
But looking at that fight, you're not like
I don't-
Cannonier's gonna win. Like,
No, but
Yeah,
like,
have
but,
no
it's not
idea.
a guarantee.
but like you just
you'd
look
think
at
Chimaev would win.
takes him down.
the fucking. You just look at the way he Mearshart fought. He looked frightened to even get a game off against him. His game going.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
didn't look.
did.
He didn't look like
yeah,
he
it
was
didn't look like.
Yeah,
it's like it looked like this dude was fucking timid and scared of
right.
him.
And like
To me, I don't think he was timid and scared. He was just looking for the takedown, and when he was trying to be prepared for when he got taken down to use the grappling skills that he has.
or like Yo Romero. Is he gonna be afraid of Khamzat? No.
No.
He's just not. Just like these dudes have been fighting top guys for years.
I
You know
don't
what I
think
mean?
he's going to be afraid of him, but maybe he should
Might
be.
get bowled over though.
I'm telling you though, I think that if his best success, he has a better shot at 170 than 185. I
I
generally
think so
believe
too,
that just
yeah.
based off of his size.
Yeah.
That, like someone like Cannonier used to fight at heavyweight. That's a big motherfucker.
Yeah,
dude. That's
pushing
a big
him into
motherfucker.
185, it definitely more questions.
I think he should make
170.
his-
I think he could run through.
Yeah, I think he should make his title attempt at 170. We say
Yeah.
we think he could run through, but then you got Kamaru Usman.
No, well, that's 185.
No,
No, it's 170.
170. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
Well, Izzy's depends on
Okay.
who wins, Izzy and Costa.
Yeah.
But like I said, you just get these big boys aren't.
Well,
like,
I'm not even that. I'm not saying run through.
You just mean
and
run
beat-
through the division.
Yeah, not even saying run through and to beat Usman, but run through that division and get right there.
Yeah, like actually,
Go to 170.
yeah. Let's look at welterweight and just see, like, even though small sample size needs a big step up in competition. You know who he should fight? Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards needs a fight.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards needs a fight.
Dude, he would kill Pettis.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
Woodley. I don't know,
Woodley.
Woodley's a weird fight.
Woodley, it's the idea of Woodley just taking that fight just like insane. It's just
Actually,
like,
this is one I don't like on this. Anthony Pettis ranked number 8 at welterweight.
yeah. I don't know why he's higher in this ranking. Michael Chiesa's lower
He
than.
should probably be lower.
Actually,
than Chiesa,
Michael
though.
Chiesa would maybe take that fight. He said that if he beats Maya, Chiesa would fight him.
I
So-
think that gives him a decent test wrestling.
I actually think Chiesa gives him a decent test.
because
in the
wrestling's
grappling
he's a
game.
very good grappler. I don't like Michael
very
Chiesa.
good grappler.
And like he just has cardio. He's big too.
Yeah, Chiesa is even though I have a lot of love for him because his dad died while he was on the
Yeah.
Ultimate Fighter.
He's kind of like
and he still won it. He's not a fun fighter to watch because
No.
he's going to take a beating and then eventually get you to the ground and then beat on you, and that's how he wins.
Yeah.
Beat on you, submit
Chiesa
you.
might be a good fight for
I think that's a pretty good fight. I think that's a pretty
the
good
grappling
fight.
would get interesting.
And if Chiesa's able to actually win it, that does a lot.
because like
for Chiesa.
it's so weird.
And they
that-
have similar builds
they do.
and similar beards.
I just feel like it's weird to have
Fair
somebody
fight.
go down and see if he's ranked here yet. Like I don't think he will be. But
I think he's like 13.
Is
Weren't
he?
we just looking at this?
no, this is he's 15 now.
15.
So like he's ranked, but like Neil Magny would be a great fight for Khamzat.
But I think Magny's gonna avoid that at all costs.
I mean he's
on another run. He wants to go elsewhere.
I'm just gonna keep going.
I don't think Magny's taking that
I don't think
fight,
Magny
dude.
wants that beef, bro.
I don't know. Just like
Magny's trying to make a run, and he's not.
He's trying to make a run. You don't
Chimaev-
want to get beat by Chimaev
Right.
and stop that run. Because if Chimaev beats him, he's going into obscurity.
Steven Thompson. That's a good fight.
Wonder Boy should probably fight.
Truthfully, every single one of these people should avoid Kazmat just because of the star power of Kazmat. If you lose to him, you're forgotten about. Kazmat's who we're talking about.
It actually depends on how far he goes in the division because like you look at somebody actually I was thinking about we're talking about matchups. A good 185-pound matchup for it's very underrated is Marvin Vettori.
And Nate Diaz.
Dude, Marvin Vettori is a fucking tank wrestler, dude.
They have Nate Diaz as number 7 in the welterweight.
Yeah, it's a weird ranking.
whatever.
But like, yeah, go to 185 and look there too because Marvin Vettori is a fucking animal on the ground.
But
dude.
real quick, I want to go in welterweight. Let's go.
I think that's where he's at.
But let's go top 10. Would you be surprised if he beat Mike Chiesa?
No.
No,
Would you be surprised if he beat Steven Thompson?
actually, maybe
No.
it depends how he did it.
Well,
If he knocked him out, yeah.
Yeah, but you could easily see him
Yeah.
grabbing Wonder Boy
Wonder
and
Boy has
taking him to the
great
ground.
movement.
Well,
He's hard to
I-
He
take
does
down.
have great
I'd be
movement, but the
surprised-
pressure,
I'd be
it's
surprised to see him get in. Like,
Because like Wonder Boy's movement.
Steven Thompson versus Woodley tells me all I need to know about the Steven Thompson Kazmat fight. I think the pressure that Kazmat's going to bring, like
It's
Steven
gonna be
Thompson had a
more,
hard
yeah.
time with
Yeah.
Tyrone Woodley
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Tyrone Woodley had his back up against the cage the whole time.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But like Wonder Boy likes people who come forward and counter, so it depends on
Right.
if he got opportunities to counter. He's a better striker probably
I think
than
that's
Khamzat
more-
still.
I
So
think that's one of the more interesting
Because
fights.
Wonder
So
Boy's a
let's-
hard fight for everybody in that division.
I agree with that. But let's go Anthony Pettis,
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
he
I'd be
shouldn't be there.
surprised if
Nate Diaz,
He would never take that fight.
Yeah.
Tyrone Woodley.
Never
He
take that
should
fight.
avoid-
Lawless
But
fights-
do you think he would beat
He
these
should
guys?
Oh, yeah,
That's what
for
I'm
sure.
asking. Jorge Masvidal.
that's a tough fight too?
That's
I
I think that's a
Great
tough
fight.
fight. I think that's a great fight. I think that's a tough
think
fight.
Jorge's a better striker still than Khamzat.
Yeah.
Shit. I
Yeah.
can't even tell if he is because
And,
As far as we know.
and with what
There's
and
more
with how
sa-
Jorge was able to deal with Usman's wrestling, even though he didn't
win.
win, he was able to deal with it
nullified
pretty well.
He nullified it pretty well.
Yeah, but that's where we're looking at Chimaev. Like,
Right.
this
Well, then-
is where
then
before we
Leon-
start questioning it.
Well,
Right. And then let's go Leon Edwards.
I think I'd be surprised if you beat him. Leon's really good.
Colby Covington.
I think I'd be surprised, but only because Colby has more proven cardio.
Yeah.
I don't know how good his cardio is. We don't know. He could gas out in 2 rounds like Khabib used to do.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, depends on where his cardio is at. We don't have these answers. So if you beat Colby, I'd be actually surprised because Colby's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we think his skill level is at the point where
top 10, top 5. I have no problem with him fighting in welterweight.
It's weird. These are all hypotheticals, and the fact that like welterweight is filled with fighters who won't take the fights and that are like former like shells of themselves.
Yeah.
Like, look at these bottom half of that top 10.
I'll tell you who would take the fight. Jorge Masvidal would take the fight.
I don't think he would. He's looking for this big bucks.
Maybe
I think that's actually a big buck fight.
He might take the fight post Maya, post maybe one more.
I think I'd be very surprised if you beat Gilbert Burns, because Gilbert Burns is.
I wasn't even gonna go there just because we already know who they're fighting.
Yeah, but
I think I'd be
because like he's a fucking champion in grappling. You know.
I think it's not till Usman and Burns that I have a very big question mark.
Yeah, because
there's question marks at Colby. There's question marks at Leon. There's question marks at Jorge. There's question marks at Wonderboy. But I don't think they're major question marks. Like. I wouldn't be completely shocked if Khamzat won. But when I get to Burns and Usman, I'm like, that's a pretty big question mark.
I mean, like it just like you have to sort of take a step back and look at the people he's beaten, and it's very impressive. But like you literally have to look at who they are as fighters.
Yeah, but the
we keep going around this fucking carousel here with that, because you're right. He hasn't really fought any real contenders, but. We've still never seen anybody, even to cans, do what he's done.
But like, then you separate the performances from like he has 3 fights, but like the last fight, have we seen a guy one punch knock out somebody else? Yes, you know what I mean.
Yes.
Like that's not that.
To me, that's the least impressive win, actually.
Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like in a vacuum, that's not that impressive. Yeah. It's just in succession. There's other 2 performances. Yes. But those guys.
To me, those other 2 performances were more. More impressive because he just took him down and did whatever the fuck he wanted and mauled you.
But the fact that we expected, like, okay, this should be a little bit of a test.
but like it just was a different thing, you know. And like I said, I'd have to see these 2 guys who he beat, their best performances and how good they are, because I don't even know.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean though.
Do I think even against cans? Do I think anybody in this top 10 is even remotely guaranteed, even against cans, to have the same kind of performance 3 fights in a row? No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it just depends on.
Not Woodley. Not fucking.
Not Woodley. Not Nate Diaz. Not Anthony Pettis. Not Michael Chiesa. Stephen Thompson against cans, maybe. His striking is just so fucking elite.
Still not even Thompson.
I mean, if Stephen Thompson fought that random 170-pounder that he fought, he would smoke that fucking guy.
You just have to think.
Yeah, but I don't
think the fact that 3 punches have been thrown at him in 3 fights.
But like
1 punch per fight.
He hasn't even allowed somebody a chance to get off offense.
Yeah.
What like nothing.
No, I like I said, I think I think it's very impressive, and I'm on board, but also almost like I literally had to take.
We have to see him.
Like you just I have to see more, because I just like to say, like, could he fuck up, like, you know, Jorge Masvidal? Maybe, but like I've seen Masvidal in every type of situation.
Yeah.
You just have. I've seen Masvidal in wars, dude, and I've seen his heart. I've seen his grit. I've seen a lot of these guys with their grit and their metal tested, and they have those questions answered. I don't have that answer, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, he could have a paper chin. I don't fucking know. You know.
We have here's what I think we can say in welterweight for Khamzat. We need to see him fight a top 10, and we're not upset if we see him fight a top 5. No.
I'm not upset. I would be like, well, okay.
I'd be surprised if anybody in the top 5 signed it.
Because it's like, I mean, are they pushing this too fast? Is it going to backfire on the UFC to some extent? Because if you fight somebody like Leon Edwards and Leon just fucking just outworks them and like makes him look bad, because he could look bad, you know, he could look flat in performance. He's looked impeccable, but like you don't always look impeccable, you know.
Right.
In fact, he did it 3 times is impressive, but like you don't always look good in fights. Some like Leon Edwards is the type of fight where you can look fucking like just like, you know, outworked and very a step behind.
Yeah.
And like we don't know how deep his game is if he's behind. We don't know how he's in certain phases of the fight where he's gonna be at. You know, and like there's people that could show those things, but we just have to see it. You know.
Now, can we agree on the fact that we think Dana White is
He's
a
on
pretty
board.
good judge of fighters?
Yeah, but he's also a promoter.
He is also a promoter.
Yeah, like he's a great judge of fighters, but he's also very largely inconsistent based off of like what he's trying to sell. Because there's things that he'll shit on certain fighters for certain things, and then like he has to hype up the guy who just knocked out a guy in 17 seconds.
Right.
He's not gonna say anything bad about it. He's gonna push it as much as he can.
Typically, when he tells you somebody is a special fighter, do they end up being a special fighter?
He said that I remember he said that hyped up.
He's off very few.
Like Uriah Hall, he said he's the next whatever.
We all
thought that.
Right.
Everybody in the world
Right, because
thought
he
it.
crushed cans on Ultimate Fighter, and then he came to UFC and did whatever he did.
But it's just the raw talent he possessed that just
Right.
never came
We
together.
all still agree that Uriah Hall
He's a
has
great fighter,
unreached potential.
I agree. I don't think he'll ever reach it. That's a personal opinion.
I would have to agree.
I think the
totally.
ship's sailing on that
Yeah.
that career there. But like I said, I think that you have to sort of take it with a grain of salt. That yes, he sees it. Is he embellishing? I don't know.
But what he did say is he did just say he was a special fighter. He said he's one of the most special fighters he's ever seen.
I think you see it in the fact that he's willing to book 2 fucking fights in a row for him.
Yeah,
That tells you what.
And
really
he
thinks.
even admits how crazy that is.
Yeah.
Dana White even admits, like, this is crazy. I've never done anything like this before in my life.
I've never heard if that
So
fight's
he's
official
blown
next
away
month.
by it.
Like
It's actually not official.
Yeah, what date is that? I have no idea.
It's not actually official.
I wish they'd
But
change it.
Dana White himself is blown away by it.
I think it should be changed too. I think it should be somebody besides Damian Maia.
Yeah, just because I just am not interested in
It
seeing
actually,
a one.
Damian Maia is a welterweight, right?
Yeah, he's
Oh, they have it
11.
at
He's 11.
Okay.
Well, which is fair. He hasn't won in a while.
Yeah.
All right, we can move on probably to next.
Well, let's. Do we want to look? I want to do one more thing with him. I do want with Kazmat. I do
got
want to
middleweight?
go ahead and go to middleweight and do the same game we just
I'm
played.
telling you, I have a good opinion on this.
I want to do
No,
this.
you don't.
I want to do
Yeah,
the
you
same
do.
game we just
Great
played.
opinion.
Let's go top 10. Chris Weidman
No.
Fucked him up.
fucks him up, right? That's what we're doing. Is he?
No,
Derek Brunson.
I think it's a close fight.
You think that's a close fight?
I think it could be.
I think it could be. I think Derek Brunson
Is
is
big a
well-rounded,
Brunson's,
good wrestler.
a workhorse, dude.
Kelvin, dude, that's a close. I think that's a fucking close fight too. Kelvin's a great.
Kelvin would be who I'd want to see him fight right now.
Actually,
in that
looking at
division.
this,
This is
I'm much more like him at welterweight.
That's what I told you. He
Yeah,
has a lot
that's
more
what we were
potential
saying,
success. Like someone like Jack Hermansson's a
Yeah.
fucking monster on the ground, dude.
It gets
He's
it's a murderer's
monster.
row
Yeah.
up there, dude. Like that's.
It gets
Darren
to be-
Till, kind of a monster on the feet. Darren Till, I think he might fuck
If
up.
I was gonna,
Yeah, Till's probably the easiest matchup so far in that top.
if
there.
Chimaev was gonna if I was gonna line up and fight for Chimaev at this division, Gastelum would probably.
I'll
be the
actually
fight.
go down because, like I said, I think. No, go down to lower rankings. I'm telling you, Marvin Vettori is a great fucking fight for him, dude. I mean, he's a fucking tough, grinding wrestler who he beat the fuck out.
Look,
Remember,
he's ranked 15 in this week.
He's
What's I mean-
ranked 15 of both.
then like he's a fucking tough dude.
So,
he remember
I
he
agree. Vittori would be.
he looks for takedowns. We don't see a lot of people that shoot hard ass takedowns and are persistent, and he's gonna put him on the back foot.
Yeah.
And he's tough. He lost to Izzy by split decision. His last loss. That's
We're
impressive.
trying to test him, so
Yeah, so like I feel like someone like that in this division makes more sense because of just like, it's a fucking deeper waters here for some reason. It just is matchup wise. Like he's not as big here. There's different types of fighters here. Like Marvin Vettori, you don't have that at welterweight. You don't have a grinder in the top 15.
Yeah.
You have him in the top 5. You have a Colby Covington.
Right.
You don't have that until
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah,
at
that's cool.
middleweight, I think I would like Vittori or Uriah Hall.
Yeah, because like Uriah Hall's hard to take down, dude. He has good movement. He's a great striker.
Yeah.
Like it's just like these guys are bigger. And like I said, you have somebody like Cannonier at the top who's to cut the fucking light heavyweight and was a heavyweight at one point.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He's a way bigger guy than Khamzat is. Yeah. He just is not gonna. He's gonna take a punch better than Mearshot for sure.
Yeah.
He's not gonna fucking be scared of him. He's been fighting killers at heavyweight,
Yeah.
So like it's just deeper waters there for his success.
For sure.
He
Yeah.
could get stumbled up by
I
a
think
Brunson,
his
you know?
fights at
I
this
like his
weight-
path at welterweight
I think
a lot
his
more.
fights at this weight class are more just to prove like I fucking
Could do it all.
I can bounce around.
And also too, I also think on the flip side, these fighters are more willing to fight him though. Welterweight has
Yeah.
fighters that are up their own ass a lot.
Yeah,
You have the Pettises, the Masvidals who are ranked in number 8, 9, 4, 5, and they're just all like, I'm looking to fucking fight.
Probably he even knows though, like at this weight class, you know, I mean, I'll fight these lower 15 guys and shit, but he probably ain't trying to fight the top.
How is Omari
5,
Akhmedov fucking like? Dude, that guy was the worst guy fighting Weidman, dude. It's
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, it's just like, I know it's off wins and losses, but it's just like, can't they watch the fights and say this guy is literally top 25 probably?
Chimaev
Yeah.
would fuck.
Yeah, he'd fuck that guy up, but that guy's not that good, I don't think. You know.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, no one wants to fight Marvin Vettori. He can't book a fight because he's been calling out Weidman
He's one of those.
due to people in the division. He's a high risk, low reward. You know, if you lose to him, you lost to nobody. If you beat him, you beat a nobody because no one knows who he is.
But he's
a fucking
tough day out.
Yeah, like if he took Izzy to split decision, that's pretty impressive, I think. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So now Donald Cerrone, Nico Price.
He needs to fight somebody in Bellator. Donald Cerrone, if you still fights.
Dana White says he's gonna have a talk with Cowboy. He's gonna try to make him retire.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a terrible idea.
Well, and I don't know that Cowboy's gonna do.
I don't think Cowboy's ready to retire. Cowboy still wants to fight. Cowboy's always going to want to fight. So
you're gonna have to murder that dude.
And honestly, if you let BJ Penn go for as long as you did, how do you not let Cowboy go?
Cowboy,
Cowboy's been way more competitive.
Why don't Cowboy
BJ
fight
Penn.
Gunnar Nelson?
I was just going to say Gunnar Nelson. I think for either of them is a good fight.
But look at who Gunnar Nelson's lost to. Those are fucking good losses.
Yeah.
Like that's a good ass loss. You know, like those are the top 5 guys.
Yeah.
So he needs to step down too, and like I feel like he could take that fight. Just like why not? Cowboy's a big name,
Cowboy's a name.
He's always gonna be like the person that you choose to fight because
and
he's
Nico
Cowboy.
himself now has. I mean, people like to see Nico. So.
I don't know who Nico should fight. Robbie Lawler if Robbie Lawler still wants to fight, or maybe Magny's going upward. He can't fight him.
But I also wouldn't be mad if Nico Price just fought Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it makes sense for either of them because it's a draw, so you get to book them both in the same range of fighters. You know?
Yeah.
I think that. Vicente Luque need to fucking. How is he only 17? Dude, he's good.
Well, I think he's higher on the UFC.
Dude, he could fucking fight Khamzat.
He's definitely higher. A lot of these guys are higher on the UFC website. Dude, I think in some ways the UFC website might actually be better.
But it just shows more fighters here, so you have a better option.
Yeah.
A better spread.
Yeah.
But like, dude, Vicente Luque versus Khamzat's a good ass fight because.
Against who?
Khamzat versus Vicente Luque. I know it's a step backwards, but he's fucking good and he hits hard, dude. He's a banger.
And it's a step backwards, but it's not really because he hasn't fought anybody of Vincent Luque's caliber.
Yeah, Vicente Luque is a better person in welterweight than Mearshart is in middleweight for sure.
Yeah.
He's a better standing and he has a better performances.
Yeah.
So like it's weird. That's why it's weird to book Khamzat from here on out because you don't know. Like I don't know if he could beat. Like I think he'd beat Luque, but Luque hits fucking hard, dude.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid of a fight. He's not afraid of coming forward. I've never seen him back up or like be like afraid of somebody.
Yeah.
He's just there to fucking fuck you up.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Nico could fight. He's lost to a lot of the people in the top 15. Yeah. He's lost to Vicente.
Well, that's why I was like, why do people think that Nico is just going to run Cowboy over? Like,
I don't think he was.
I didn't think he was going to run him over either.
Cowboy should go back down.
I'll tell you what, I didn't think he was going to run him over. And then at the beginning of that fight, I was like, oh, he's going to run him over.
He was fucking putting the gas up.
You're right, Cowboy should move down a weight class.
Because, like I mentioned earlier, he was trying to damage Nico with his strikes.
Well, Cowboy's 155 is his weight class.
Yeah, like that's a big boy. Nico's a big boy in the cage with Cowboy, and like he wasn't doing much.
He looked big.
He wasn't really fucking him up as much as he was fucking up people at 155.
I think the move up was because like the murderers row of top 5 at lightweight, but it's like, dude, you're not in that anymore, regardless.
Yeah. So. You just need he needs if he wants to continue to fight, it just has to be fun fights.
Yeah.
Even if you win, don't try to make another title run.
I think those fun fights should be at lightweight.
Yeah, and don't try to make a title run in any weight class. You're here. If you would still want to fight, find the fun fights. Yeah. That's it. Just find the fun.
You know what's crazy as fuck though is like a few months ago, or go
to Bellator and see what happens.
It's like
I don't want to see him.
It's weird.
I don't want to see him go anywhere.
Yeah, because it's like keep him. If the UFC smart, keep him in the UFC.
Yeah,
because he's gonna fight regardless. Give him fights till he's ready to be done.
And I think Dana White wants to talk to him because I think Dana White wants to find a position for him in the UFC because he deserves it.
Yeah.
He's got the most finishes in UFC history. He's got the most submissions in UFC history. He's got the most bonuses in UFC history. Like he deserves. If Chuck Liddell deserved a spot, he deserves a spot.
Yeah,
I can see him doing backstage interviews after the fights.
I can see that. I think the only reason he probably hasn't done commentating is because he's like, no, dude, I'm a wild man.
That's not wild, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a wild man. But if he's not fighting anymore, I think he'd actually probably be pretty good on the commentating table. I think he'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think he'd be fun as fuck. Yeah. He'd probably be sitting there with a Budweiser in his hand.
Dipping his lip.
Dipping his lip. Like, you see these boys brawling?
Right.
Fucking like hamming it up on there. Yeah. But I feel like fucking... It's weird how like the more Cowboy loses this year, the worse the Conor McGregor win looks. Like he just, like it's like Conor's like,
what did Conor do? Nothing.
Yeah, it's like he fucking was on a 5-fight. It's like Conor's back now because he beat Cowboy. That Cowboy was not good.
Well, I didn't understand that when people were acting like, "Oh, Conor." I'm like, dude. I mean, yeah, that was pretty impressive, but it doesn't put him in
any position for anything.
Yeah.
I do got to say real quick, we have, you guys can't see it, but I have Sunday Night Football on in the background here, and my fantasy team is tearing the fuck up.
Who's winning?
And then it's Seattle. It's. I know you don't care, but
no, I'm happy for. I have no dog in the fight, so I don't. I'm happy for you.
It's Seattle. It's Seattle versus the Patriots. Seattle is winning. I have in this game on my fantasy team, I have Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, and Chris Carson.
Oh, Carson.
Russell Wilson has thrown 3 touchdowns. 1 to Tyler Lockett, 1 to Chris Carson.
There you go. Did he run the other one in? That'd be the ultimate.
Yeah. So, no, the other one was he threw to. I don't know if he ran another one, and they've got quite a few points up on the board.
Dude, I didn't play.
But he also threw. He also threw a touchdown to DK.
I'm sad I didn't play fantasy this year, but I was like, I'm not having my players go down with COVID.
I think the NFL is going to be like, if you have COVID, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Run.
Yeah. There's a lot of money though on the table for this shit to keep going.
But so now we have Colby Covington. I think he's the only one we need to look at here.
So there's a few fights for him if he's not waiting around for the winner of Burns.
Because he earned that rematch probably.
Masvidal or Edwards or the winner.
I don't think he earns the rematch.
No, I don't think so either.
With that.
No, because
but if Burns beats Usman, he's got a name on that.
I want to see Covington versus Usman again, just because I want to see make Colby's jaw wired shut again.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I'm telling you, like Edwards or Masvidal the only fights.
I think those are the 2 fights. Yeah,
Masvidal would be. People. You know how many people would tune in to watch Masvidal fucking beat Covington's ass.
And truthfully, after watching this fight and the Usman fight, I think Masvidal has a really good chance of beating.
Because he's not going to be in those positions like Woodley was.
Nope. And he nullified. Jorge Masvidal got dominated, but he nullified Kamaru Usman's plan.
Yeah. And
if he can nullify Kamaru Usman's plan, and Colby Covington could not, then I would say he's got a pretty good chance against Colby Covington.
Yeah. And then you got to think too that like if Usman, if he's better than Colby in the ways that we think he is in terms of like the grappling and like how strong he is, that if Masvidal had more success against Usman,
yes,
and then it was a better performance than Woodley losing. Like Woodley, it's like just looking at the fights, he had more tenacity. He didn't accept positions as much as Woodley did.
Yeah,
and like Colby had a worse time. Like he looked like he struggled more than. So it's like Masvidal matches up well. I think he's a lot more vicious and a lot more open to striking. He's not going to fucking sit back and wait against Colby, especially against Colby. No. He doesn't want to get embarrassed by Colby.
He's going to fucking light up Colby. He also hates Colby, and I think an angry Masvidal is a much different thing than an angry Woodley.
Yeah, and I don't think... Yeah, because angry Woodley can only fight to what he has in his mind.
Yes.
And like Masvidal doesn't have his mind
to put his back on the cage.
Right.
And Masvidal is not going to do that.
And like I think Masvidal is big. He's hard to take down at Matt. He's not going to get fucking this double leg.
To me, it's kind of crazy that Jorge Masvidal used to fight at lightweight.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a big boy. It's not as crazy as Rumble fighting at welterweight.
No.
But it's crazy.
It's pretty close.
It's crazy to me that...
Because he's a big welterweight, man.
It's crazy that Rumble got choked out by Josh Koscheck. That's fucking crazy to me. Like,
to me, the craziest thing ever in the UFC was when people lost to Josh Koscheck.
He was like the most one-dimensional dude possible.
The most one-dimensional dude possible.
I hated him.
For a while, he was the second best. He was the second best guy in the GSP. Dude.
And even though I never condone hitting somebody
Paul
after
Daly,
the bell,
dude, smashed
I've
him.
never been happier than when Paul Daly punched him after the fight.
Dude, I'm telling you that Paul Daly should never got kicked out of that shit. I don't give a fuck.
I think he should have. Fuck him, dude. I was pissed when that happened.
If you say that, then you have to say that Khabib should be kicked out.
No, that was a whole different thing.
No,
Khabib
he jumped into the crowd and fought people.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
That means innocents were involved.
That wasn't the guy you just fought though. Like, and he's not looking at you. Like, you know what I mean? He jumped. He was like, "I'm coming for you," and he jumped.
Was a non-fighter.
You jumped into to fans. And fought to fans. I
just think
even if you miss the guy you're trying to punch and then knock out a fan,
that was like some weird personal beef. I just think the unsportsman.
I'm not saying
petty. Like, I just lost this fight. And I'm so whiny and bitchy about it that I'm gonna.
I heard that Costa.
So it's less petty to win the fight and then want to fight everybody.
That wasn't the guy that he fought Connor, and then he jumped over the cage to fight some guy he had a problem
I don't know.
with.
But like,
I'm talking about like you fucking.
I think
you're so salty about the fact that this dude just dominated you for.
I have sadly become a massive Khabib fan in almost every aspect. I think he is so dominant that I can't deny it, and he is actually a good dude.
He seems like a good dude.
There was another bit of news I meant to have on this.
Khabib, I don't like him, and you're the one.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm saying I don't think either should have got kicked out. But I think if you're saying that Daly definitely should have got kicked out, then I think definitely.
I just think it's so like petty.
Well, I heard that Costa called him the N-word and was calling him the N-word.
I just think it's petty as fuck to get dominated for 5 fucking rounds or whatever, and then try to sneak punch the dude.
But then you gotta look at too. There's video of Connor punching an old man at a bar.
Yeah,
like, that's not the cage. That's not.
But like, I mean, why? That's even worse though.
That one is outside of the UFC.
Yeah,
so you can't get kicked out. But
think
the other two, their actions were inside the UFC.
No, but there's a they have things in their contract that there's a conduct policy in the UFC.
About all that shit,
that John Jones would have been gone years ago.
Well,
I don't care about all that bullshit outside. I'm talking about being so petty about the fact that you just lost that you can't take. Like, I'm gonna go sneak this.
The reason why,
because I just got dominated and I can't handle it. Like, that's like you can't handle being the competition. You can't handle. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying,
but
you can't handle the competing. Like,
I get what you're saying, but at least when he punched Koscheck, he was in the ring with other fighters and people involved in MMA. When Khabib jumped out of the ring, he was surrounded by people who had nothing to do with MMA.
You've displayed that you can't handle competing, that you're going to get petty about losing. Like, you know what I mean? The next time you fight, if you lose again, are you going to do this again because you lost? Like, you can't handle.
He's lost since then and hasn't done that. But like, it just depends on the feud.
Yeah.
If he's feuding with Koscheck and they call him the N-word during the fight.
And if he was called him the N-word during the fight, that's some shit.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that happened.
But like I said, it's
if he was called the N-word during the fight, I think he should have fucking beat the shit out of him.
Then I understand, but I don't know that. I never knew that happened.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I've heard that a while ago, like whenever it happened, after it happened. But like, I mean, you gotta look at the action of what the action is. It doesn't like the context of it. Like, well, he just lost. Well, I mean,
I just find it disgraceful to lose. Like, if there was no N-word thing, to lose a fight and be so like just shitty about it. That you gotta attack.
I agree, it's shitty.
But
I just don't think he should have been kicked out.
But Paul Daly probably has like 60 fights, and like he's only done that once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like he's lost a bunch.
So you have to imagine there was something extra to it. Yeah.
Like he has 15 losses probably. Yeah. So it's like if he has 15 losses and then at one time.
I feel like at a minimum, Koscheck was calling him boy.
Or something like racist connotation.
I think boy is racist as fuck.
Yeah. When black guy on the ground.
When a white guy is calling a black guy boy.
Yeah,
I think it's racist as fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe after.
And I think it's an insult no matter what.
But I understand.
Out of white guy on white guy, if you call another white guy a boy, you're insulting.
Dana
him.
kicked him out for a while, but then it became.
Didn't just kick him out for a while. He kicked him out.
Well, yeah, but then was it? Did he not bring him back because it just wasn't worth it after a while?
No. He said he was banned for life.
No, yeah. I know. He said that, but Dana says a lot of shit.
That's true.
What?
But he never says he's going to ban somebody for life.
Would he have brought Paul Daly back had it been viable to bring, like, had Paul Daly become undeniable outside the UFC,
I mean,
would
like,
he have eventually
Paul Daly
reversed
Paul
course
Daly's
on that?
better than a lot of people that's in the that was better than a lot of people that was in the
At the
welterweight
time,
division.
yes.
Like he's a good fighter.
Yeah, but
He
I'm saying,
truly had
if he goes
death in
outside,
his right hand.
If he goes
It was in his
outside,
right hand or his left.
One of the hardest punchers I've seen ever.
Yeah,
if he goes
period.
outside and becomes, you know, a dominant champion elsewhere, and
Well,
becomes
he never
undeniable,
fought in- he
would
really-
Dana have held that?
To
I don't
me,
know.
he never really fought enough in one promotion after that.
Right.
Because I believe he just kept bouncing around. Bellator, knock somebody out. This place, knock somebody out. Go back to
Dude.
Bellator.
Go get a Google real fast. I don't know if you've seen this knockout, Dave, real fast. Just do Paul Daly uppercut. Like this, like dude, it's literally one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Who was it?
Some dude. I don't know.
Dude. Was it Bellator after
It was.
Koscheck?
It was before. There it is. Uppercut. Vaughn Paul Daly. That one, dude. Brutal.
Oh!
like
Sniped him.
you don't want that. Like. It's just like, dude, I'll watch that guy fight anybody. If you can do that to people, I don't give a fuck. Have that guy in your boring ass welterweight division that's with wrestlers. You know what I mean? If there's wrestlers that are there, like, that dude's entertainment. He's fucking coming to take your head off. So, like, what? Like, I don't give a fuck what he does, really. Like, it just becomes a thing where it's picking and choosing, like, shitty things. Like, I remember when Jason High, he pushed a referee, and he got cut. And, like, how many times have you seen similar shit like that now? You know?
Oh, Big Country did that at one point. Kicked the ref.
He kicked the ref in the ass. He barely kicked him.
But like, it's just like...
And he was also right. He was like, why wouldn't you call that fight sooner?
Yeah, but like you just gotta like it just becomes a gray area of like, well, like this guy's cut for this, this guy's not cut for this. So it's like, you know,
I wonder if Paul Daly ever really tried to get back to the UFC.
He might not have been soured on it and just like fuck it. And he probably made his money elsewhere. Like,
Well, especially if what he said about Koscheck was true.
Yeah, because I'd be like, fuck that.
Yeah, like fuck you. He was calling me that, and you're mad at me. You're gonna kick me out forever because I punch him in the face afterwards. Fuck off.
Right.
But I will
that's
say,
the first time I ever heard that.
I will say Dana White can do whatever the fuck he wants, kick people out, not kick people out, whatever he decides. The guy changed the face of MMA, so it is what it is, and he.
I'm not dissing him, but I just, you know.
Yeah.
There's a good Dana White. There's good and bad and like embedded in his character in terms of like a public relations aspect of the UFC. There's shit he says that are like he's trying to hype it up. There's shit he has to say.
Yeah.
Like he'll shit on other fighters. Like I remember this is actually very recent, ties into the news. He was shitting on Patricia Pitbull, like for not being in UFC and saying that, like, well, you know, who do they have over there?
But then hyping up Chandler.
Yeah, who just knocked out Chandler 2 fights ago.
Yeah.
So like it's a shit like that where it's like, I can understand why he has him under contract now. Chandler's a top dude. Pitbull's not. Yeah. He's on the. So
and actually, that puts us right into the news.
Right, we'll do the news.
So first is Michael Chandler does sign with the UFC. And because they couldn't get the Tony Ferguson, this is like two stories wrapped into one, because they couldn't get the Tony Ferguson-Poirier fight in, he is the backup for if somebody falls out of Khabib versus Gaethje. So Chandler in the UFC, possibility of an immediate title match, which with what you just said doesn't make any sense if he's going to talk shit on Pitbull Fier.
Yeah, Pitbull fucking wiped him out in one round.
Yeah.
Pitbull is the top fucking featherweight in lightweight, dude. He just is.
He's a beast.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, there's good fighters outside of the UFC. So.
I'd say him and Demetrius Johnson might be the best two fighters outside of the UFC.
I'm a Gegard fan. I think Gegard could be top 10 in middleweight and top 5 even. Like
I actually agree.
Gegard probably pretty old right now.
He might be pretty old, man, but he's
34.
just steady, man. He's just steady.
34, 35 or something.
We'll look it up real quick, but he's just steady.
He beat Mark Hunt at heavyweight. That's nuts.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
How do you spell his name?
Gegard.
When did
Ge what?
Gard.
Masasi fought Mark Hunt at heavyweight?
Yeah.
When?
In Pride, tapped him out.
A long time ago.
Yeah. What, 34, 35?
35. So
it's not that old, really.
It's not that old
because he's younger than fucking Jared Cannonier. Like
younger than Woodley.
The only thing you can say against Masasi is that he is not flashy or shiny in any way.
No.
He is a incredible fighter.
He's a better John Fitch.
yeah, well, he's better. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
I love his demeanor too. He's just like.
Is he still the champ over there?
He actually lost to fucking, he lost recently the title to this dude. Go to his Wikipedia real fast. The guy retired because he had a fucking like illness or something like that. Let's go to Bellator MMA middleweight champion. Down. Bellator, down. Middleweight champion.
No, we need to look at his fight record.
Wait. Yeah, it's good
Just
at his
look at
record.
his fight record, yeah. Personal life, mixed martial arts record. There we go.
Yeah, he lost to Rafael Lovato Jr. And that dude he like took him down. That guy's a grappling champion. He took him down and sort of controlled Musasi on the ground.
Yeah.
But like, dude.
Yeah, but other than that,
Yeah,
look at all his
Dude,
wins.
look at this. Thiago Santos, Vitor Belfort, Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman. I don't know who you are. This dude is actually, Rafael is actually considered to be pretty decent. Rory McDonald, Lyoto Machida.
Yeah, and he's only lost to really pretty good guys. He lost to Uriah Hall.
Well, he lost Uriah Hall, but
that was a
fluke.
fluke. That was it wasn't fluky, but it was like very.
It's where we thought he was going to be. You know what I mean?
Souza,
Dan Henderson's lost to Souza, lost to Lyoto, just avenged that loss. I mean, he's only lost to some pretty good people, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see what he would do in the UFC right now.
Well, I mean, his last win was Weidman, and that's when Weidman was better than he was now.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, he I think he has a good chance of beating, like, Kelvin. You know, a good chance of beating. I mean, Costa's a hard matchup, but, like, I could see how he could beat Costa, too.
I think Musasi on any given day could almost beat anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, he really is a very well-rounded
Well, when
mixed
he
martial
left the
artist.
UFC, it
was
was like,
money.
where are you going, dude?
It was money.
Yeah, money. They weren't going to pay him because
Yeah.
he's not shiny in any way.
No.
He's not he doesn't have
But
star
he was
power.
on a run that was like, dude,
Because he's a beast.
Yeah.
That's all there is
Dude,
to it.
he's actually really hilarious on the mic when I've seen interviews. They brought up Machida, and he's like, "Fuck that cheater." That's what he said about Machida. Like it's like he's like Armenian, so it's just like very like broken English sort of, and like very plain. He's like, "That's fucking bullshit." He was cheating. You know, it's like,
Dude, and he's 46-7.
that's a great record.
like
That's incredible. Normally when you see guys with like 46 wins, they're like 46-25.
Or 13, like over him, 15, like over him. Yeah. All right, but yeah, let's get back
what
to
do we
news.
got? The card coming up now. Huh?
Hold on. So then the other news is Ferguson versus Poirier is obviously gone.
happened.
It's done. There's nothing to it. I don't know. I don't know who either of those guys are going to fight. I don't care.
Oliveira versus Ferguson, Poirier versus
Oliveira
Somebody.
made a stab on social media that was actually very. It wasn't like, "Fuck him, I'll beat him up." It was like,
I'm ready to
look at this record that I have. Look at this record that I have. Look at what's going on here. He literally broke it down.
It was a
like,
great Oliveira impression. Hard to close my eyes. I think that Charles Oliveira's in the room with us.
But I don't know why I went into that accent. Is that a Brazilian accent? I don't know.
No.
But yeah, made an undeniable case for
Yeah, he
why
did.
he should be the guy.
Using logic to appeal to Dana White to book you for a good fight.
No, I don't think
Isn't-
logic is the avenue.
No,
That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
I think his logic is actually sound.
Yeah.
Do I think that works? Do I think logic works on Dana White? No.
But that's the
I think if he would have stepped up and said, "I will fuck Tony Ferguson up," then Dana would be like, "Let's make the match."
Yeah, just like,
But I think that's the logical match. I don't see.
I think it's a
why-
logical match as
What
well.
else are they gonna do?
and if Chandler doesn't fight in that fight, book Poirier versus Chandler.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And I bet you, weirdly, Poirier probably gets actually a little bit of a higher paycheck to fight Chandler.
It'd probably be a fight night main event or co-main event.
Yeah, fight night main event, co-main event on a
card.
pay-per-view, and it's so much of a question mark because he's never fought in the UFC.
I think
Chandler
Poirier
that he
fucks him
might
up.
get paid. Probably.
'Cause-
Listen, how many times have we seen it? The only one who really had decent success transferring over from Bellator was Eddie Alvarez,
yeah.
and then got
Yeah,
fucked
but-
up right afterwards.
Yeah.
I got into a big argument with people. Like I'm like, I mean, talking about it. Like a lot of these guys that their name somewhere else, they come over, they don't, they fizzle out, and they're like, oh, these guys, DC came from Strikeforce. I'm like, dude, I'm not talking about guys that were like on their way.
Yeah.
I'm talking about guys that were reign champions somewhere, and the people are like, let's see what they can do in the UFC.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't work out. That doesn't seem to work out a lot.
I mean,
yeah, it does.
look-
Hector Lombard,
Dude, the biggest bust.
They were trying
biggest
to
bust ever.
The people were arguing with me like, well, Connor came from blah blah blah. I'm like, That's not fucking like where he made his name. Like
No, he made his name in the UFC.
There is an argument to be made though, like that some divisions, like Bellator has certain stacks. In like some divisions, they have a good amount of great talent that could be successful. Whether or not they'd be champion, I don't know. Like somebody like Nemkov, I mean, light heavyweight's pretty fucking weak.
Yeah.
I don't see a way that he's not top 10 there, really, just based on me seeing him fight and washing out Bader in 2 rounds.
Yeah, and Bader, honestly, even though he left the UFC, was
He was
actually still
top 5.
top 5.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
what is this about?
Yeah, that's why I pulled this up. This is my last. This is my last thing on the news back.
Yeah, I don't know what he's.
UFC working on fun stuff for
Cowboy
Conor
versus
McGregor at the beginning of
Connor
next year.
too.
Oh jeez.
So my question.
He's back.
Nico versus Conor.
Yeah, Nico. Just some random
What are we
fighter.
talking about? with
So
that?
that is my
BJ
question
Penn.
for you. I think if it
BJ
is
Penn.
BJ Penn. So I think if
In a bar fight, though, not in the
if
UFC.
this is well, then I might
In a
vote for
bathroom
BJ
at a
Penn.
bar.
BJ Penn seems to be undefeated in
Yeah.
bar
No,
fights.
he got knocked out by this
No,
fat guy.
yeah.
But then woke up and submitted the fuck out of him.
If he could weather the storm from Connor and get him a few hours later,
Yeah. If he gets knocked out and then wakes up like an hour later and then submits him from behind, you
Yeah.
know.
What do you
So
do?
listen, the fight's not over until one guy leaves.
yeah, until they go to their house. And go
Until
to
the
sleep.
cops show up.
But so I think we're looking at
It's a
lightweight
fun fight. I don't like the idea of fun fights. Fuck a fun fight if you're 32 and you're supposed to be the best in the world
Yeah.
still.
I don't
Really,
like-
that's what I
Well,
feel
I
like.
think if Dana White says fun things, I think it has relevance. I don't think it's just.
Oh, we're gonna do fun fights.
I'm
It
just going to
means
do a fun fight. I think it means we got
he's
something
coming
kind of
back.
big.
Maybe.
It's probably Diaz fucking 3,
Oh
dude.
God. 3.
I'm
No way.
Diaz 3.
Because more than likely,
That's the fun one.
not official, but more than likely, Masvidal versus Diaz. Not official, but more
That'd
than
be
likely.
great. Yeah.
Dude, these guys are like the BMF fighters now. It's just like the biggest prima donnas about fucking contracts, dude.
Yeah.
Just fucking sign and fight, dude. I don't give a fuck. I
well-
hate this shit.
Let's just Masvidal versus Conor and get it everywhere.
I just. Oh my
Well,
God.
actually, that could be also what's announced.
Fun.
I think if it's anything outside, if it's anything outside of the lightweight division, then I think it is Masvidal versus Conor.
Yeah.
If not, then I would say they've worked out some kind of 2-fight to the championship deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, man, we're going to give you these 2 fights at lightweight, at least in my dreams. We're going to give you 2 fights at lightweight. If you win those 2 fights, you're going to go to the championship. And I would say that the first one is going to be, depending on what happens in this fucking mix, the mix that's going on, I would say one of them is going to be somebody like Charles Olivier or Dan Hooker, and then the next one is going to be somebody like Dustin Poirier or
think
Tony
so.
Ferguson.
I like. What,
That's my dream world.
right.
That's my dream
I'm
world.
just saying, there's no fucking way Connor comes back from a long
To fight Hooker.
to fight Hooker or Charles Oliveira.
I think Oliveira maybe.
Maybe
No,
Oliveira.
dude,
Maybe.
no.
I think maybe
You
Oliveira.
cannot sell that fight to anybody.
You
I
can
think
sell
you
a Conor
can.
fight to
But
anybody.
you
No
can't
matter
be-
who
I think you
fight.
can sell the Oliveira fight. I think people are actually kind of hyped on Oliveira.
But nobody
I really
that
do.
nobody outside of like people who watch.
Okay,
him
but
know.
that's
I actually
Oliveira.
think because of Oliveira's last performance, I truly think that against Kevin Lee, I truly think that people are kind of hyped on Charles.
Why don't he just
That's
rematch
Oliveira
Dustin
that
Poirier,
you
dude?
could
Oliveira
sell-
was able to turn down a fight, and it did not deduct anything
You
from
could
him.
sell it on the basis of Connor's coming back regardless.
Yes,
Oliveira, Conor,
and you're giving
this
to-
Oliveira guy doesn't matter.
and you're giving Conor a clear shot at the title.
Yeah.
Beat these 2 guys, title.
I think he fights Poirier
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
think-
the one that.
I think more than likely
time.
because
it's going to be Poirier.
Connor's not gonna like. Okay, it's about like I think for Connor, it's about bottom lines. Like, can a Connor fight sell against anybody? Yes. Well, can you double a Connor fight depending on who he fights?
Yeah.
Yes. For sure.
Yeah.
And if he's getting a cut, he ain't fight Oliveira for $1 million buys when he can fight Diaz 3 or Masvidal for
and
2.5
the
million
other
buys.
fight
Yeah.
Diaz again, probably.
But like, I just feel like it's the bottom line of it. It's like he's coming back for the money. He's just
Yeah.
coming back for the money, and like that's fine. But like, you ain't gonna get as much money out of an Oliveira fight. It ain't gonna sell as well as a Masvidal fight. It just isn't.
Yeah.
And it's something against Oliveira, and it's like I don't expect Connor to take this fight just because
I
of
could
his
see it
stature.
being Masvidal and then
Or
something
Poirier.
else at lightweight.
Yeah.
Because
and
Poirier's a
then-
bigger name in lightweight. Like if he's gonna come back and fucking fight a guy who's tough, he's gonna fight a Poirier and
Poirier's looking for money.
And add 500,000 buys.
If he's looking for money, that's the fight.
Yeah.
And add 500,000 buys to the pay-per-view.
And
this is.
And Poirier making the name for himself to be to be the top guy,
top
prize fighter, making a rematch win against Conor is huge.
Right.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next card. Something I want to do when we preview these fights, we're not going to keep a record of it. We're not going to do anything like that. But I do want us, before we actually break down into the fights, we'll go through and pick our winners.
Oh.
All right? So on this card, I think we only really need to do that for 2 people, right? Or 2 fights.
We could do probably like a few. Like Diego Sanchez versus Jake Matthews. Fucking Jake Matthews for sure.
Jake Matthews.
Yeah, Jake Matthews.
Yeah, just like Diego Sanchez is in a gay relationship with his trainer who doesn't have any credentials.
Yes.
So,
none. 0 credentials.
Yeah, not the gay part.
He doesn't have 0 credentials in any aspect of life.
Yeah. So like,
not a single aspect of life. Not as a guru, not as anything. He has 0 credentials.
Allegedly.
So now let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and we'll just do from there up, and we'll just do random picks.
Hakeem Dawadu. That's actually a good fucking fight because Zubara is the guy who punched Conor after the Khabib fight, and he's pretty decent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take Dawadu.
Conor caught him though.
Yeah, well, they need to rematch then. He should be fighting that fucking guy then. If he's gonna fight Oliveira, Oliveira's fucking the same thing as that guy. Right?
So I think just off of record alone, I'm gonna go Hakeem.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, Dawadu.
Yeah. Do what you do,
well,
boy.
Right, Matthews for Diego. And
yeah, I'm not even. Like I said, I'm not gonna keep track of it. I just think it's something we should do. I think it's just something we should do.
You need to put bets on these fights that you're actually picking. You better not pussy out, Kyle.
So then Vieira versus Eubanks. Even though Eubanks, I'm going Eubanks. I thought she looked impressive in her last fight. She did get the shit beat out of her for a little while, but she's coming off the first or second biggest underdog win of all time in UFC history.
That's not her. Is it? No, that's not her.
Is it different Eubanks?
This is a different woman altogether, man.
Okay, whatever. All right, then I'm going the other way. Vieira.
She took this fight on like 2 weeks' notice too.
I'm going Vieira.
I'm going Vieira then.
Right.
All right, so Kia Kara France.
I take him.
Yeah.
Versus Brandon Roval.
This is a good fight too, actually. You guys are sleeping on some of these fights because it's like the names aren't there, but like.
Well, that's why we have you on here.
I know, yeah.
So go ahead, break it down.
But Kai Kara France trains with Izzy at that gym.
Okay.
He lost to Brandon Moreno last. Brandon Moreno is a great fighter. It was a close fight. Fucking war. Brandon Royval is kind of coming up, and he's a fun action fighter too. And these guys are pretty brutal for flyweight. They're like great, they're violent. So I'm actually looking forward to this fight just because I know Kai Kara France. And Brad Riddell also fights at City Kickboxing, and he looked fucking spectacular his last fight. He's from kickboxing, so.
I'm gonna do something real quick here. Sorry, guys. Dominic Reyes, right?
Yeah. I heard he's an athlete.
I heard he's pretty good.
Yeah. I heard he's like a stud athlete from fucking Apple Orchard, California, or whatever. It's fucking. It's just like some random ass little.
I actually just want to pull up. I should have done this beforehand. I'll try to remember to do
he needs to shave that head, my man. He needs to fucking let it go.
And then.
Do
you see that fight? Do you guys watch Mirsad Bektik versus that one guy?
What is it?
Mirsad Bektik. He fought against that guy who took the fight on 3 days' notice and lost. But the guy had a hairline that was like on top of his head. And I seen someone post online. It was like, with a hairline like that guy has something to prove. So you better fucking watch out. I'm just like, yeah, dude. If he has a fucking chip on his shoulder because his hairline is terrible.
How did Blackwoods lose to Santos?
Knockout.
TKO.
All right, so actually, I guess that's another thing we should actually bring up real quick, news-wise, for light heavyweights, since we're about to talk about the future of the light heavyweight division. Thiago Santos versus Glover Teixeira is officially scrapped.
Yeah.
Because another
COVID.
Yeah, Glover got COVID, and then Thiago got COVID.
And if they book Glover versus, well, I think
they're probably waiting to see what's going to happen before they decide.
They could actually insert Thiago Santos right into the fucking fight against this winner,
fight,
and give Glover Yuri Prialka. I mean, that would work for me.
Or give Glover the loser of this fight.
Yeah, Jan or Reyes or whatever.
Either way. So, all right, let's make our picks. I'm going to start with you, Brandon.
Wait, Dominic Reyes versus, right?
Yes, Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz. And give me a little breakdown of why.
I feel like Reyes is gonna win the fight. I feel like his movement's a lot more fluid than Yan. Yan can catch him sort of with a counter, but I feel like the Jones fight was a lot closer than the Yan fight would have been for Jones. That Reyes tested Jones way more than Yan probably could with skill set wise.
I would
And
agree.
he's too stationary. I feel like Yan is very stationary, and the movement's going to be hard for him to overcome and catch him with a counter or catch him with his own sort of forward pressure.
I actually like what Reyes said too. He said after fighting John Jones and seeing what he could do against John Jones, he's actually going to look for finishes more often because he fared so well against somebody who is so defensive.
And like, there's no historicity of Reyes getting bombed on and losing. So
No.
if you haven't seen it, it could happen. But I've seen Yan lose fights, and like it's very telling. You know, if you get a Yan. Can you go to Yan's record? He's lost to Thiago Santos, who's a fucking killer.
Well, I think that
yeah.
is the most telling of like why the fight, what the fight would look like with Reyes is the Thiago Santos fight.
And you look at his wins, like here, it's like, okay, he lost to Patrick Cummings, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, has he gotten better since then?
I'm
Maybe.
picking Blachowicz because I want him to win.
But here's what I'll say: he has wins against Canadier, Madoua,
Mano was a glass
Charlo.
cannon too. He's
Luke
he-
Rockhold,
That-
Souza, Anderson. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Reyes,
But yeah.
Cannonier. So they both got that. Oven St. Preux,
Right.
Vulcan Ozdemir,
But that's a
Chris
decision.
Weidman.
It's a decision against Oven St. Preux and a split against Ozdemir.
Yes.
He actually knocked out St. Preux at the end of the fight. Remember, he like fucking knocked him out literally as a buzzer, and he was knocked out. But like in my mind,
I
that's,
think Reyes is a little over, not like way overhyped, but like it's I think it's a little.
Be looking at the people he has beat. It's literally what I was just thinking. Be looking at the people that he has beat. I'm not sure either of them have monster impressive
no
wins in their history.
I had Reyes winning the Jones fight though. So
I did.
Yes.
So I had him winning that fight, and I feel like I said, he rose to that occasion more than Yan would have rose to that occasion. Yan would have been outworked
probably.
and not gotten close to being Jones as close as Reyes did.
To be even with looking at these records, I think the two most impressive light heavyweights at this point are Thiago Santos and Reyes.
I think ultimately Thiago Santos is the lightweight champion.
I think he is too.
But like
Light
I don't
heavyweight
know, because
champion.
he fucking has lost. Like he has a bunch of bad losses too. He just like
Yeah, but I think they're old, and I think he's a different fighter.
Well, and a lot of them came at middleweight.
Middleweight.
right. Yeah, I agree. Oh shit, the weight. The weight cut.
Don't worry, I've dropped.
Don't
my
throw
cigarette.
stuff.
No,
Jesus
no.
Christ, it's
Fucking
okay.
middleweight. But his actually record is weird as fuck. He lost to David Branch, knocked out Eric Spicely.
Guess who we knocked out?
Jan Black.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Jan Blachowicz, Anthony Smith,
What?
Jack Hermanson. That guy that just lost.
Go down more. 'Cause I like to see. I actually
Beat Kevin
don't look at
Holland.
these as much as I should.
Beat Eric Anders.
Lost to Gegard, which is whatever.
He might actually have the most impressive
Yeah, he does.
wins at this point.
He does.
Jan Blachowicz, having a win over Jan Blachowicz makes it more impressive than Jan Blachowicz and Dominic Reyes.
I thought Reyes won the Jones fight, so that's more impressive to
I
me.
But
don't
I think
think
Thiago.
Reyes
I think there's an argument to say Thiago won the Jones fight as well, and he had no knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I they both beat Jones, I think, but
I don't think either of them won. For the record.
I think it's a coin flip.
like you can't say they really lost though. You know what I mean? They lost on the paper.
They
like,
were by far. Here's what we could. I think we
Yeah,
could
they
all
were the
agree on.
closest fights.
I think what we can all agree on is that they both put up the best fight against
Jones.
Jones. I think even better than the Gustafsson
Me
fight.
too. Yeah.
I think they're the only two fights that I understand
pause, yeah.
questioning
Yeah.
who won that fight.
I
But
just-
ultimately, I felt that Jones won both of those fights.
So
But I totally understand people who think
I do have to
Reyes
say, in a
was
way, I
wrong.
agree with you, Brandon, that I think Reyes had even more of an argument.
Yeah, I think Reyes' argument is better than
But I think
Thiago's.
Thiago Santos also looked better in the
Because
later rounds.
Right. I think Thiago's, the fact that his legs were injured,
Give him a
obviously
lot of credit,
he ended
yeah.
up losing because of it. But had that not
Here-
happened, I think he might have won that.
Let's focus back in a little bit. Why do you think Reyes wins versus Blachowicz?
okay, here's actually my biggest reason that I just found out. I feel like Reyes has more room for improvement in MMA at this point than Yan does. He's younger, less miles on his body, more confidence. He doesn't have any losses in the way that Yan has losses.
Yes.
So I feel like that confidence of beating Jones in his mind, he won that fight in his mind, and he's going forward as an undefeated fighter in his mind. That's for sure.
Excellent.
And being 12-1 is better than being fucking 27-8. You know, it's mentally just, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Kyle, your pick and why?
I mean, I'm picking Jan, but it's purely out of like I like Jan and I want to see him win.
But like, who do you think will win? You know, because there's
Reyes.
difference.
I think Reyes.
Yeah, that's the thing is, who do you think will actually win? You want Yan.
I'm picking Jan on the
yes,
thing.
you want him to win, but you think Reyes will win?
Yeah, I just think he's gonna put out more volume. I think Jan has some power to him, but I don't think Reyes is gonna be there for him. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
He's got a lot of power.
Like where Luke Rockhold stood in front of him and got KO'd. That's not gonna happen with Reyes. He's getting out of your way.
Right. He has great striking. And he can only get better. He can only get better from.
So I'll say, since you want Jan Blachowicz to win, what do you think his path to victory is?
Power.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's more powerful than people even realize. Like,
I would agree with that. I think maybe him. I think maybe Blachowicz and Thiago Santos have the most knockout power in that division.
Yeah. Well, until Rumble comes back.
Until Rumble comes back.
Actually, it's crazy
because that's for sure the most powerful guy. As soon as he steps in the ring, he's a silverback gorilla.
My concern with Blachowicz is I don't know if he has the movement to do
slow,
it. But and
I think Thiago also has better movement.
But I think Blachowicz's power is severely underrated.
But like
just not as well rounded. I don't see him throwing a whole bunch of kicks.
I don't see any ground game regardless with either of them.
No.
And performance-wise too, Reyes has had better performances. Like I remember the Yan fight versus Jacare Souza, and it was like so fucking ineffective and slow that it's like, how do you have a stinker and not knock out Jacare coming up from 185? Because like really, it's just like that's if you're a fucking lethal puncher at 205 and Jacare's coming up from 185 and he's 38, you shouldn't be getting split decisions.
I do feel like Blachowicz is a full-size light heavy.
Oh yeah, he's not small for sure.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
And so is Reyes too. Reyes is big as shit.
Reyes is long.
I think Blachowicz is bigger.
Yeah,
meat wise.
Yeah, but like if you put,
he's just got a big old dick.
Yeah,
he does.
You can't clock him with it.
Who has a bigger dick? That's a pick. Kyle, who do you think has a bigger dick?
John Jones.
John Jones, biggest dick.
Anthony Johnson, Rumble Johnson. Just all black guys we pick. we just pick all black guys.
So I'll go.
DC's got a little dick.
I'm gonna have to agree.
I don't know.
I'm gonna jump into mine. I am also gonna pick Dominic Reyes. I think Dominic Reyes again has the better movement. I don't think he's gonna stand in front of Yan like people have done in the past. I just see when I look at this, I see Jan Blachowicz being in the top 3 maybe forever.
Yeah,
but I think Thiago Santos
bad
and
matchup.
Reyes are
like
both just bad matchups
like
for him.
Glover.
So is Rumble. So is Rumble.
Like
yeah, because what you're gonna sit there and trade blows with
fucking
Anthony Rumble Johnson,
like a young Glover to Shira, where it's like, you know.
Yeah. Now I will say that I think I just maybe saw another way for Jan Blachowicz to win. If I'm looking at his record, he actually has 9 submission wins.
Yeah.
So if Reyes does catch him and then tries to jump on top for the finish, there is a possibility that maybe Jan can catch him.
How many is from his back though? That's the question.
I don't know that. I'm just looking purely at 9 submissions.
But I don't think the takedowns are going to be there.
And you don't see a lot of off the back submissions from
I don't
light
see
heavyweight.
either of
Especially
them
him.
trying to take each other down.
No.
I don't see that either. I think if that possibility exists, what it is Reyes rocks him, he falls to his back, Reyes goes in for the kill, and he catches him.
I think Blackwood's best game plan would be to pin Reyes against the cage.
That's what I was about to say. He's probably going to try to clinch him into the cage and dirty box him and take away that movement.
And I think the power is there to do that. Like I think that is his path to victory, is get him up against that cage, try to land some nasty uppercuts.
Kind of Randy Couture him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just don't think. I think he's gonna be a step behind trying to do that.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be hard to get Reyes up against the cage.
Right, probably Reyes slips out. But
because it's like if you compare John Jones and like, does Yan do anything better than John Jones besides punching power?
Yeah.
In like boxing, actually potent boxing offense.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
Is he a better clinch fighter than?
Yeah, based on what Reyes was able to do against Jones.
If he could
you
nullify
have to
Jones in
think,
the clinch,
right.
Yeah. If
He
you can
ends up-
nullify Jones in the clinch, you should be able to nullify Jan Blachowicz in the
But
clinch.
there's a power factor that Jan has that
That Jones
just
definitely
doesn't have.
does not have.
it might cause some hesitation for Reyes to throw as often as he did against John, because John's boxing
Right.
really isn't there to counter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And Jones just isn't knocking people out.
I think
That's
we've
just all
talked
there
our
is
way
to
into
it.
this being an interesting fight.
It's definitely going to be an interesting fight.
I think it's a good fight.
I think it's a great fight. I can't wait to watch it. I like. Would I be shocked? I'm picking Reyes. Would I be shocked if Jan Blachowicz
knocks him out.
knocked him out?
No.
Nope.
Me neither. No.
Not at all. I think Jan Blachowicz has the kind of power that he can land one punch and it's over.
I give it a 70-30 on that.
Yeah, I think
But-
that's fair.
Yeah, just based off of like
I'd
the
say
skill sets.
anywhere between. I would.
40-60 maybe even.
Yeah.
As high as
Yeah,
40-60.
That's what I would say. Yeah,
It's not a coin flip.
right in there. No,
It's not a coin flip. But
no, it's not a coin flip.
It's not
but
a
it's
done
not.
deal that Reyes has
No,
won.
I mean
Yeah.
Reyes should be the favorite. But
Yes.
it wouldn't be shocking. To see some-
Regardless, I think we're all excited for that fight. We're all excited for the new light heavyweight division.
Right. Well, it's a lot more interesting now that Jones is gone, so it's like opened things up for people to
It's
get
way more interesting.
'cause,
I'm
like-
glad he's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I'm
I
glad
also-
he's
I'm glad
for
finally
heavy-
I'm glad he's finally making the move to heavyweight.
Because
Yeah.
heavyweight needs him more than light heavyweight
It
needs
should
him.
have happened a
Yeah.
couple years ago. I think.
Yeah. The only problem I see for him in heavyweight is if
Punching
he's not
power.
knocking people out in light heavyweight, he's not knocking people out in
He
heavyweight.
ain't knocking out a fucking Derek Lewis.
No.
He might be able
But
to beat him. I'm not saying
Ultimately, what I want to see is Thiago Santos to win that light heavyweight title and reign.
he's
That's
old
exactly what I
though.
want.
Love
He's
him.
kind of old. I love him too. He's like 37.
But does he have
Really?
low
Yeah.
fight miles though?
Yeah.
Yeah, low fight miles.
I mean, he's been knocked out a decent amount of time.
But I'm saying
20
knocked out one.
3 knockouts.
This is Thiago.
Yeah. 3 knockouts. That's not too many times.
That's actually not that many times.
No.
I mean-
and fight miles, he's
How
not
old
that
is he?
old. Where's his age at?
36.
36. So he's
Damn.
pretty old.
He's
but
older than-
low fight miles, which I think is a big thing. Like you can actually be older but not have as many fights under your belt and you're in a decent position.
You know, he used to fight at 170.
Look at Daniel Cormier.
yeah.
Look at Daniel Cormier.
He used to fight at 170.
So he
No, I'm not saying that's good or bad.
Thiago
but-
Santos.
well, no,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that is kind of crazy because you also have
He's
Anthony
fucking
Rumble
big.
Johnson who
Yeah.
used to fight at 170. But I think I think Anthony Rumble Johnson is a way more drastic difference.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because Thiago Santos actually is probably really a true with the cutting and how they do everything.
185.
Probably a true middleweight.
Yeah.
He's not
But
a-
he's got the skills and he's got the power
To go up.
be at light heavy. And I like his matchups better there.
hello.
That's the computer. It's fine. All right, so nobody
Main
else
event.
heard that. That's just us. So, all right, let's go to the next fight. The fight. It is Israel Adesanya versus Paulo
This is the
Costa.
best fight of the year for
And
me.
Brandon, again. we're-
RuPaul versus Ricky Martin.
RuPaul.
Grace
That's actually
Jo-
what those pictures look
Grace
like.
Jones versus.
So we're going to start with you, Brandon.
I-
Israel Adesanya or Paulo Costa?
You know who I'm picking.
Israel Adesanya.
You know that. Yeah.
Okay, why?
I feel like this style, he's seen this style a lot more than Paulo Costa has seen the style of Israel Adesanya in his fight career. That he has a decorated kickboxing record. He's seen brawlers. He's seen power punchers. He's seen big guys bigger than him. He's fought a heavyweight at kickboxing. I think he's like 72-5 in kickboxing. So he's seen this style, and that there's nothing that he's gonna do that he hasn't seen before. But I can't say the same for Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa has never fought a striker as good as Israel Adesanya, with as many tools to capitalize on his deficiencies. So I feel like
So you're saying that you feel like he has faced enough people that are going to walk straight forward and throw power at him.
yes, I've seen that kickboxing for sure. I've seen fights where
You think he's
But they're
seen
applying
what
that kind of
Costa has
pressure.
to offer?
Who, if you look at his record right here, and it's
No,
obviously
but
fucking insanely impressive. But if you look at this, who do you see that fights like?
no, I'm talking about kickboxing, and it's going to be a kickboxing fight.
It is going to be a
And
kickboxing
it's not.
fight.
It's not a one-to-one comparison of kickboxing and MMA. Obviously, there's way different, aspects of it. But that combat experience is going to lend itself to this fight. And like, you just realize when somebody has done this for 90 times, if he has 80 kickboxing fights and he has 19 MMA fights and has been on the biggest stage, that type of pressure isn't going to get to him. He fought fucking in front of 70,000 people.
Yes.
And danced on the way to the cage.
I think he might be one of the fighters that is going to be another one of the ones that is actually improved and that's scary by no fans.
Yeah.
I think he is.
Well, yeah, and then Paulo Costa.
Adesanya?
Adesanya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Paulo Costa has...
Because he's so technical.
Yeah.
Paulo Costa has been in, like... I mean, they've both been in spots where they've shown weakness. Like, Izzy was rocked by Kelvin. Izzy, had that fight against Dior, which is way different than in Paulo Costa's fight. But I've seen Izzy go 5... Yeah, I've seen Izzy go...
Hold on. I have something I want to... Go ahead.
But I've seen him go 5 rounds. I've seen him, not break a sweat. He has great cardio.
Great cardio.
Great movement.
He's not tired ever.
Always improving his grappling. His grappling's not going to be a liability. I don't see it.
I don't think Paulo Costa's even going to try to grapple.
Right, but I don't think he's going to take him down. That's not even a path.
Well, I think he'll try to push him against the cage.
I think he might try to push him against the cage, but I don't think he's going to push him against the cage and lean his body on him. I think he's just going to try to get his back against the cage.
I don't think Izzy's going to be at the cage. And Paulo Costa's his offense shrinks a little bit when he's in the middle of the cage.
Yeah.
He doesn't have as many tools, and that reach deficiency is going to be fucking terrible.
Yeah.
81-inch reach versus 72-inch reach is going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's just going to, if he's not against the cage, it's going to be bad for Paulo Costa.
But who in his wins here do you think is similar to Paulo Costa?
I think that Kelvin has better boxing than Paulo Costa.
But do you think he applies the same kind of forward pressure?
No, but that pressure can work against Paulo Costa in a way that no one can capitalize in Paulo Costa's previous fights. Yoel Romero's not going to counter like Izzy
is. Yes.
And Hall was fucking him up with a jab and dropping him with a jab. And Hall is not a great counter striker as Izzy is.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword. That pressure is going to be good until you're getting blasted with counters. Yeah. So that's I feel like that style matchup is going to be
real quick. I want to say we have 2 fighters right now that if you look here,
undefeated.
just wins. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
this is the first time since Machida and Rashad. First time
it hasn't happened.
Well, and you look at the
and they're I'd say Israel Adesanya is better by about 2 fights on who he's fought. But they're both pretty impressive.
I want to watch the Romero Costa fight again because I remember thinking that Romero won that fight.
Me too.
But I don't know why now. Looking back, I don't remember.
Well, because Paulo Costa gassed out bad in the last round. He looked fucking gassed.
Yeah,
if you don't get Izzy out of there in the first 2 rounds, and if you're gassed like that, and he's not gonna.
I'm gonna let you talk. I hate to do this, but I gotta piss. Go ahead.
But he's just throwing shots, and if he's getting countered, is his gas gonna be worse? He was landing on Romero, but is it gonna be there to be landing on Izzy in the same way? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the fight that well. The Romero Costa fight.
I remember him.
But I do remember thinking that Romero won the fight, but I don't know that that's any indicator of what's going to happen this time.
No,
because I think it's the way Romero fought Izzy is just totally different than what happened with Costa because, Romero didn't push anything where Costa pushed Romero.
Right.
And it made Romero
fire back to
the
extent that he had to.
And I think that Costa does try to push Izzy, and I don't think he encounters as much resistance physically. I mean, I think he's gonna encounter more counters strike wise.
Right.
But I don't think he gets gassed in trying to pressure the fight as badly as he got gassed against Romero, because
But 5 rounds is
the resistance he
3.
sees is Adesanya bouncing out and counter kicking, counter punching versus pushing versus.
I mean, it's hard to quantify what you get gassed by more because it's I don't know. The cleaner counters, I feel like Izzy can counter clean on Paulo. He's a better striker than Romero is. Just technically,
for sure.
He's just gonna have more angles. Romero, if I remember correctly, literally was pushed against the fence and fucking shielded and tried to counter from those positions. He's been countering off the cage, countering in the open space. He's been countering everywhere in the ways that Romero wasn't. You know what I mean? So is that going to be worse or better for his gas tank? I don't know.
Yeah, I got to think that the Romero fight was worse on his gas tank than what Izzy's going to be. I think it's easier to deal with a guy who's fleet of foot and bouncing around versus a guy, when you do pressure him, you have physical resistance.
Sounds like we already got into it, but I'm going to go ahead.
We're not that divided. I just parsing out sort of fight styles and strategies, really.
But it sounds like you guys already got into it. But so now we're going to jump forward to Kyle. Who do you pick to win this fight?
Costa.
Costa,
mainly based on Adesanya's fights, on what he's went up against. I don't think he's seen anything like Costa yet. I don't think he's seen anything that's that raw power yet that's pushed him like that like I think Costa's gonna do. And like me and him were just talking about how Costa kind of tired in the Yoel fight. I don't see that being as big of a problem in the Izzy fight, because I think the way Izzy deals with the pressure is to get out of the way and not to physically fight back, force back. I don't think the cardio is going to be as big of a problem as he had with Yoel.
I don't think it'll be as big of a problem if he doesn't punch himself out.
Yeah.
Well, if he's chasing around the cage and Izzy's not there and he has an 8-inch reach advantage.
But do you think he's going to have to chase him around the cage because Adesanya likes to counter? Do you think he's really going to have to chase him?
Well, like you just think about like the angles that Romero.
Look at Whitaker versus Adesanya. Whitaker didn't have to chase Adesanya around the cage.
That's more what I'm basing on is
he didn't have to chase him.
No.
The Gastelum fight and the Whitaker fight with Adesanya.
I'm going to go ahead and jump into mine because I'm agree with you, and I'm going to take that point to another level. I'm going to say I also think Paulo Costa. Now, my reason is because of the Whitaker fight.
Yeah.
Because if you look at that fight, and Whitaker was actually trying to apply pressure, but do you think Whitaker has as good of a chin as Paulo Costa?
I mean, okay. Here's a few things.
Just answer that one for me right now. Do you think Whitaker? Who do you think has a better chin, Whitaker or Paulo Costa?
I don't think. I think from what we've seen, I think that Costa has a better chin.
Okay, then my second thing is,
What?
who do you think has? I know, but
Good.
I'll let you get to it.
Good.
But who do you think has more punching power, Whitaker or Paulo Costa?
I think it's barely Costa.
I think it's Costa, and I think it's even though like you've said it before that he doesn't have. I mean, let's look at it. So he's got 13 wins, 11 by knockout. So maybe that's not as much as we thought, because we've said in the past that he's not. He doesn't have quite the knockout power. It would say, but he has 11 knockouts. So
He has
I would
TKOs
say,
though.
Yeah, but most UFC fights are TKOs.
Right.
Yeah. They try to stop it before it gets.
I've never seen Costa knock out somebody like
not a one-hitter quitter, not like a Mark Hunt,
but not even like an Izzy versus Whitaker. He's never even done that where he's fucking like Whitaker was fucking.
But could that be
floored.
Because his glancing blows and shit are so bad that it's
right?
Like they're just
so we agree that he probably has a better chin.
Right.
He probably has more punch power.
Right.
Not
to
the
me,
speed, though.
Speed is a kill.
Speed is a killer.
And
but to me, the pressure that he's going to apply, like Whitaker tried, I think Paulo Costa will be more successful with the pressure.
Yeah.
It's different pressure.
It is a different pressure.
It's a different style of pressure, I think.
Yeah, and with the fact that I think he has a better chin, the fact that I think he has more power is why I'm going to give it to him. Now, Adesanya's path to victory is the speed and the countering.
I just feel like the angles of Adesanya are so good. He's not really he doesn't get hit clean as much as, like I look at the Kelvin fight as a better indication of this fight, because I feel like Kelvin, even though he's what he is as a fighter, has probably some of the best boxing at 185. His like lead in his footwork and his boxing combinations.
But Kelvin, I felt like Kelvin gave him a really great fight.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But like he had a good chin. Izzy had a good chin in that fight.
Yeah, he did.
I think Kelvin hits harder than Costa does. He has more clean knockouts. Kelvin has fucking bricks for hands. Yeah. He just does. I mean, like Kelvin. If you fought Kelvin, like, could he knock out anybody in the top 10? Like, would you say he's not going to knock him out? No, he could fucking knock out a lot of people.
He can knock out a lot of people. But Kelvin at one time, like I said, I think there was a point in that fight with Kelvin that Kelvin could have won the fight where he had Izzy on the ropes and he decided to duck his head and pin him against the cage instead of flurrying punches.
But he's not gonna, like I said, Costa's path to victory is way different than Kelvin's path to victory and path to success in those exchanges. Kelvin has
because I think Kelvin is more well-rounded.
This is why we watch the fight.
Right, but Kelvin has better entries. Costa's not coming in like Kelvin ever comes in. He's not coming like that. He plods forward.
Yes.
He plods forward.
He's the Hulk.
He's not jumping in the pocket.
He's the Hulk.
And
he's not jumping in the pocket, jumping back out, pocket out, out. No.
That's what Whitaker does. That's what Kelvin does.
Yeah.
Kelvin does that too.
Yeah.
He gets in the boxing range, unloads his combinations, and gets out. Has good head. He has a great head movement. That's why Izzy had a hard time hitting him, because Kelvin also does have great boxing head movement. Costa doesn't have that as much.
Yeah.
He plods forward. It's a way different pressure. So, like, saying, does he have a better or worse chin? Yeah, but fucking, I mean, Whittaker fights way differently. He's not, like, Whittaker doesn't plod forward like that. Could Izzy have better success with a plodding style of Costa on counters? Maybe.
Right. But my thing when
I will say, I think this fight's a fucking coin flip.
Oh man,
Dude,
yeah, I'm excited for it.
It's one of the best fights of the year, for sure.
I hope it is. You never know what we end up getting.
It can't not be, though.
I don't disagree with anything Brandon says. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but at the same time,
Do I see a way
I
that
also see that's why it's such an interesting fight to me.
do I see a way that Costa wins? For sure. Like, I'm not saying he can't win.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm just saying, like, if I had to pick somebody, I'd pick somebody with 90 like combat fights, kickboxing and MMA. You know, I that's for real. You know,
And it's going to be a stand-up fight.
right.
But if Costa's an underdog in this fight, I like the under. You know what I mean? Like, I like that.
Betting wise,
Yeah.
if Costa's a drastic underdog, I'm putting money on it all day.
I like
just
Costa.
for the upside.
Right,
you know what I mean? Not
I wouldn't
because
blame you guys on that, because
I think he for sure beats
Right.
Adesanya, but it's worth the bet.
Yeah.
Right.
If he's a
Yeah.
drastic underdog, like,
Yeah.
I think he has a great chance.
Do I think the better technical striker is Adesanya? Oh yeah.
Most definitely.
Do you think, do you think the reach is going to be hard to get past?
Go ahead.
Because it's like the last fight that we seen Costa in, he fought Romero, who Woodleyed himself against the cage, and also has a 73, 74-inch reach. That's not a good indication of how this fight's going to go.
Yeah. Do I think it could be? Yes. Do I think it absolutely is? No. We actually see people with reach advantages lose all the time.
Do you think Adesanya doesn't have a good grasp on how to utilize his reach in a kickboxing fight? You know what I mean?
I think he does, but I think it's going to be different when you have a dude who is plodding forward and
who's
constantly
just-
trying to stay
who's
inside.
pushing you off of that back
He's
foot.
constantly trying to stay inside. Now, has Adesanya proved that he can fight well off his back foot? Yeah, he knocked out
he does.
Whittaker off his back foot. He did.
But when they're able to keep coming.
I think there's a possibility that that's my thing is I think Costa's going to eat some of those and just keep coming forward like the Hulk.
But how long can you do that if you're not getting off better?
But how long do you, like you said,
If you're not getting
off
better.
better, so how long do you have to do it for?
But I mean, I don't think Izzy has shown himself to be not durable. That fucking Kelvin fight was a war.
Yeah, he took a lot of shots.
And in round 5, dude.
Not only that, he fought a lot on his way to the heavy,
Right.
or to the title.
I mean, like round 5, he put
lot.
on his best one of his best round of the fight, and he was deep in the fight, dude. And he was landing. He almost had Kelvin out.
Yeah, I mean, that Kelvin fight is his most proving ground.
And
Yeah,
that-
and
he's a dog when it comes down to being a dog. That's what I'm
and
saying.
To your point of, do you think he's not durable? He fought 4 times. No. Yeah, 4 times in 18 and 3 times in 19. He's definitely durable.
Right.
Definitely durable. Now, a lot of that probably has to do with not taking much damage. And I do think he is maybe the most technical striker
Right now in the UFC.
Yeah.
right now in the UFC. And there's a good argument, I'd say, for in the history of the UFC.
I mean, he's top
technical
5
striking.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a little too counter-oriented for me to say that he's the
But he's more
best.
active than a lot of counter strikers.
His fakes and his feints are fucking key. Like, because I remember in the Romero fight, he was biting on a lot of the Romero feints. And like I said, Romero, would you say Romero is a worse striker and a worse adapting to pressure than Costa? He has power, but like as
I
far
think
as
that
angles.
fight is such an oddball that.
But like if he comes forward to Izzy like that, and like Izzy's not at the cage and angling out, like how well is his punches going to translate?
One thing is that both of these guys are prepared for each other. They've had
And they're
plenty of
confident,
time.
too.
Yeah, they're both confident.
This is like one of the better fights in middleweight history.
They've
I
had
think.
plenty of time to
yeah.
prepare. They're both undefeated. This is great.
Middleweight history seems to not actually provide a lot of good championship fights where you're like, man, who the fuck is gonna win this?
No,
because Anderson Silva reigned for so long.
Yeah.
You're like, Anderson's obviously gonna beat these guys. So I
Yeah,
think
this
this
is the
is
most
one of the best fights
interesting
in middleweight
fight,
in a long time.
Like Whittaker has a good chin. I feel like Whittaker he stood for 10 rounds with Romero and didn't get knocked out, and then Izzy put him out 2 times in one fight.
yeah, I just don't know if he's going to be able to rock Costa like that off his back foot.
But I mean, it's not gonna like the accumulation of damage might be a lot. It's like,
Could be.
like if he's accumulating damage and plodding forward, and Izzy's not there to be hit, it's gonna be a long fucking night for him plodding forward, and that's only his only path for victory. How many times have you seen somebody plod forward and get lit the fuck up by somebody, and that dude just fucking him up? It happens, it happens a lot, and it's more prone to happen with Izzy, and it's more prone for the opposite to happen with Costa, because I think they're so good at their styles of fights that it's gonna be decided by like who has a battle of will, who can keep their game going for as long as possible without succumbing to the other person. Because if Izzy,
I think they're both gonna land, dude.
Yeah, I just feel like Izzy's more proven in his kickboxing career. He's probably seen this fight more closely than Costa's seen Izzy.
Yeah.
Chasing Izzy down is probably way different than chasing somebody.
I just don't know if he's gonna have to chase him down.
But he's gonna use movement,
he's gonna use movement. But I don't think he's gonna actually have to spend a lot of energy dancing around the cage, because Adesanya is such a fucking counter striker. He actually kind of wants to be in there. Yeah. He kind of wants to be in there. He wants you to throw a punch and then be able to counter it. So I don't know that he's gonna have to chase him.
This idea that he runs.
I mean, you have to use movement. If you're fucking up somebody and you're moving backwards, you're fucking them up regardless of what direction you're moving in. I think Costa is the better form of pressure fighter. So like I said, is this the best person? I don't know if this is the best kickboxer that Izzy has fought. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know this is the best striker that Costa has fought.
Yeah.
That's why it's because I know that Izzy has 5 losses in kickboxing. The last two of the losses is Michael. I didn't know Pereira. His name is, and he's the kickboxing champion in 2 weight classes.
Yeah. The only one I would say that maybe matches kickboxing skill, but Uriah Hall has great kickboxing skill, but he's also the fucking. He's the worst, man. Yeah, he's the best and the worst.
We don't know who showed up that night.
And Johnny Hendricks is not a good win at 185.
Nope. And after USADA wasn't even a good win at 170.
Yeah, he fucked him up, but he fucked him up.
It's not a good win. It's not a good win.
And I don't know who
Adesanya's path is pretty fucking good.
Hell of a resume.
And Paulo Costa, his wins come in. Go to Paulo Costa for a second. So he has one first round win in UFC. That's Gareth McClellan. I don't know who that is, to be honest. And the rest are round 2.
He is fairly untested.
He's fairly untested. But I don't think the fact that he only has one first round finish talks against him in a championship fight.
No. But that first round, I don't think any of these fights are going to look like I think that Romero is the most effective about getting damage off on Costa in the first round. I think Izzy is more effective than any of these fighters on countering and damaging him and impeding that fucking forward pressure with counters. If he's getting fucked up, it's coming forward in the first round, I think he has a better chance of getting fucked up against Izzy than any of these fighters. So round 2, he might not be able to get that finish he's been getting. And if in round
unless
3,
Uriah Hall shows up as Uriah Hall.
Well, Uriah Hall,
which I'd have to watch that fight again.
Me too.
Know.
Well, he dropped him with a jab coming in. He was coming forward. He dropped Costa with a jab coming in. So it's he's fucked up his face and bloodied his face with jabs.
Yeah.
I feel like Izzy's a better counter fighter than Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall goes forward better. Izzy goes backwards better. Yeah. I think that's true.
But I think that's true as well. But I think backwards is going to be hard to rock Costa.
If he's running forward and you're punching forward, it don't take much.
That's true.
I mean,
saw it in Forrest Griffin versus Anderson Silva.
I've seen it with Whitaker and Brunson too. Where Whitaker's on his back foot and Brunson's fucking chasing him around the ring, and he's running backwards, punching and kicking.
And you saw it in Adesanya versus Whitaker.
Yeah, and he was, and Adesanya has better. I mean, Whitaker has better entries than Costa, or different entries. He leaps in fast. He has fast hands.
Yeah.
And I don't think he even hit Izzy clean on any of those exchanges.
Yeah.
I don't remember Izzy getting hit much in that fight. He was leaning back and using head movement and out of the way of all the punches.
I don't know. Costa doesn't bounce back though. I think he bounces in and stays in.
Right, but if Izzy goes out and circles out, what's Costa's plan? I feel though, underrated wise, the body punches is what bothers me the most. If he can get off his body punches on Izzy, it's going to be bad for Izzy.
That's going to be real bad.
Right, that's
Izzy is skinny in there.
I think that should be the game plan though.
Right,
I think that should be part of it.
But a lot of the body punches too come from the proximity of the cage and getting them against the cage. That's where a lot of them land.
Yeah.
They don't land. Like I said, his skill set dwindles if he's not against the cage. It's not as effective. His style isn't as effective if he can't pressure you and keep you in that pressure.
But with Adesanya being a counter puncher, he might back himself up against the cage.
He might, but he doesn't need the cage to counter.
True.
He can counter an open mat just as easily. So, it depends on where the fight takes place at.
So let's go ahead and say we're all very excited for this fight.
For sure, yeah.
I'm
not confident in Izzy win.
I don't think we're confident in the Paulo Costa win. You know what I mean? But I that's just the way I see it playing out. The only other thing I want to touch on real quick, and then we're done, just because it has recently come into light. It's the only fight we need to talk about on the card. It is Brian Ortega versus Korean Zombie.
Oh, shit.
I'm super excited for this fight.
Korean Zombie smokes him.
I think he smokes him as well.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think he does. I think we're all big Korean Zombie fans.
He's a fucking... Ortega's a punching bag.
He's a punching bag that is great at submissions. And if you think you're just going to grab a hold of the Korean Zombie and submit him, you're wrong.
Long fucking night for you.
He is also very good at jiu-jitsu.
How can you not root for Korean Zombie?
Yeah.
I mean, Cyril Gain's actually a really good prospect at heavyweight. He's a decorated kickboxer, undefeated. He's a fucking nasty kickboxer. He has a submission win in the UFC. He's a kickboxing champion, too.
I've actually heard him talked about quite a few
And he
times.
trains with Francis.
Is this the fight night directly after?
No. It's October 3rd is
yeah, this
There's another
Holy
fight
Home.
night.
we've just talked about these so much that I feel like
Dude,
we
that's
don't
a
really
terrible
need to get
card.
into it.
Yeah.
Actually, we should look at this one. We actually
That's a
haven't looked
fucking
at this
nasty
one.
fight.
This is a great fight.
Dude,
Marlon Moraes
Sodiq
versus...
Yusufi
Yeah,
versus Edson Barboza.
That's a good fight, too. Ben Rothwell, I'll watch him fight anytime. I don't care. I know he's old and slow, but he comes to fight.
Dude, Rodolfo Vieira is fucking...
Well, we'll talk about those.
Yeah, this is like...
The next, after we talk about...
But yeah, that's actually... Moraes versus Sandhagen is actually a pretty decent fight night main event. As far as, free card.
Yeah, I think both those two back to back. I think Holm versus Aldana is the weakest
and
one.
then the
out
next
of
pay per
those.
view is Gaethje and Khabib.
Yeah, so we got a lot of it. Oh, Carlos Condit is now fighting on the Holy Home versus
Court McGee.
Oh, Duran Durante's fighting on that. There's Pena. That's cool.
Actually, that's a really
not a
good
bad
fight.
card, man,
I actually like
Court
this
McGee.
Jermaine Durandamine versus Julian Pena better than I like Holy Home versus Aldana.
And then Dariush is fighting some...
Oh, shit, and Dariush is going to fight on that card, too.
Oh, that's cool.
You know,
I hope they get a good fight for him.
what weight class? 155?
Yeah.
Damn it.
That ended up turning
it was
into
170.
a decent card.
It's Khamzat.
That's a tough fight for Dariush, though.
I agree. I don't like it for Dariush. But
That comes up.
that actually could turn out to be the weakest fight on that card, being the Holy Home versus Aldana fight.
Yeah. I feel like fucking... I mean, I don't know. I'm actually... if Carlos Condit cannot beat Court McGee, it's like, dude...
I was real high on Court McGee when I just liked his story and shit.
Yeah, he's like a heroin
addict coming back.
Yeah, I don't say he looks like a
turned
nice
his life
dude.
around. And
He's
shit.
just not a great fighter. He's
He
an okay
won the
fighter.
Ultimate Fighter, didn't he? Or was...
Yeah, he won it.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what. I really think Durandamine versus Pena should be the headliner of this card.
Yeah.
I think that fight means way more than Holy Home
I'd
versus Aldana.
actually rather see I'd rather see Home versus... I don't fucking know. I don't want to see him fight anybody, dude. I'd rather see a triple threat match with Irene Aldana and Jermaine.
Let's put all four of them in the cage.
Yeah, fuck
and
it,
see
dude.
what
Tag
happens.
team.
Not even
Pena
tag
and
team.
Aldana.
Everyone against everyone.
Is that all taking place at 145 or 135?
Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
It
Yeah,
does not
that's
matter.
the same division.
Because if
pretty
Holly
much.
wins, she's gonna get a title shot and win her division.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. She's like the Frankie Edgar
Yeah.
of fucking title shots. It's like
yeah.
you get a
One
win,
win, title shot.
one win.
title
Yeah, like
shot.
you lose it. It don't matter if you lose it.
Yeah.
All right.
She's like the most boring women's fighter. Like that, she gets main events though. Like
Yeah. Well, because she does sometimes come with these knockouts.
She beat Ronda
and
Rousey,
shit.
dude.
once every 3 years, she comes with a knockout against somebody who didn't falls
Yeah.
prey to her fucking head kicks.
She beat Ronda Rousey in a match that anybody who had ever watched MMA and had any knowledge of it should have known that was a really high possibility. Because Ronda Rousey's stand-up is awful.
She's been riding that forever, though.
But all right, you guys got anything else? I think
Nope.
I think we're wrapping it up.
covered
Huh?
it, dude.
Yeah. Obviously,
I can't wait to come back and talk about the results of that.
I can't wait to talk about Izzy Guiti choking Costa in the first round, or something dumb like that. Dude, if that happens,
fucking nuts.
His submissions look pretty. Like his ground game looked good against Kelvin. He flipped that fucking triangle real fast.
What if it's a fucking just a ground fight?
Ground fight the whole time.
Everything
fucking
we talked about.
Paulo Costa
so bad.
immobilizes him in round 5. Just like something nuts.
Like everything we talked about literally just doesn't mean a
We
damn
just look
thing.
like the biggest morons. Because honestly, weirdly enough, for 3 guys who have nothing to do with MMA in any big circle, I think we call these fights
Pretty okay.
Yeah.
pretty okay, man.
We can't be 100%.
No, we're
Nobody
obviously
can.
not calling each one, but I think when we talk about the fights, we're fairly accurate on what we think
past the
can
victory
and will
and shit like
happen
that,
past the victory. I think we're pretty good at it, and I think it's weird because none of us know shit.
Yeah.
Well,
None
we've
of us
watched enough of it.
None of us are fighters. None of us are actually people that get paid to study the sport. But I think we might do it a little bit better than some of the people that are paid to talk about this.
But how many people though? Like you got to question like the MMA like media and like how many people are just us, but they went to school for it, like journalism. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like they don't know as much.
Well, especially since the ESPN deal, they're using a lot of guys who are like other
Football
sports,
play-
like
yeah.
Stephen A. Smith.
Like,
That dude doesn't know a fucking thing about MMA.
They actually shouldn't let him talk about it.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for
Seriously,
them.
it's
Like-
very embarrassing.
Yeah, it's
Like
terrible.
you look like a subpar brand for what your brand is trying to do. For
Yeah, you're
this.
damaging to the sport.
You for some reason you think having him talk about it is going to boost your ratings, and then they hear him talk about it, and every fan ever is like, "Fuck off."
No one's ever like, "Oh, he made a really good point there."
Yeah,
he's
no,
stupid.
he's literally made all bad points.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the worst takes on MMA.
Yeah.
Dude. It's terrible.
Yeah. But all right, man. Another episode wrapped up. I can't wait for next week so we can
Recap that event.
That's going to be a good one.
We love you.
We love ya.
Love you. We're in love with you guys. you know?
We're in love with all 5 of you that watch this.
I'm in love with you guys too, though.
Yeah. I'm in love with you guys too.
Aw.
And you know what? I think we've formed. I think this is a good topic for the bond that MMA can provide.
Yeah.
Because I think we're all as close as we are because of MMA.
Watching guys fight each other.
I think
make guys hug.
I've talked to Kyle about MMA for about 7
Watching
years,
guys fight each other
Yeah.
can make guys hug.
and we could all pop boners together while we watch it, right?
Now you got weird.
Yeah. It was already weird for me in my
All
head.
right, let's end it on that.
All right. MMA Fools, we're out.
All right. Oh, that's the longest episode ever, probably. It's like 3 hours.
I love how we're like, we could probably.
we had one that was almost 4.
Yeah.
It was 3:21, and there's probably a good 20, 30 minutes that I'm going to be able to cut out. Well, yeah, because